This is Josiah Plays Lone Wolf Book 25, Trail of the Wolf. Lone Wolf has been abducted by the forces of the dark god Nar and imprisoned in a remote city fortress on the border of the Darklands. Subjected to relentless attacks by the minions of evil, the Supreme Master of the Kai is surely doomed to die unless a rescue can be effected swiftly and successfully. In Trail of the Wolf, you must venture alone into the dreaded stronghold of Gad Helona to find and free your leader. Can you succeed in your vital mission, or will you fall foul of the horrors that lurk within this Darklands city fortress? Hello and welcome once again to another Lone Wolf book. This is the 25th in the series. We have read together the previous 24. And now we're on Trail of the Wolf. We are approaching the end of the series now, but we're not quite there. This is the New Order series, where we are no longer playing Lone Wolf as the protagonist, but we are now playing one of Lone Wolf's Grandmaster students, whom we have named Firesnake. And these books were beloved by me as a young boy, back in the late 80s, early 90s. They're written by Joe Deaver, illustrated by Brian Williams, and this digital format that we'll be using today is courtesy of projectaeon.org, where they have all of the Lone Wolf books except for the very newest one, available in digital form for people to read and enjoy with permission of the author. The music that you hear in the background throughout this stream/video is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. If you look on my YouTube video description, you will find attribution and links to his work there. Let us get started with Lone Wolf Book 25. Moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. And we come to the story so far. This is the sort of the previously on Lone Wolf. It will tell us what has come before and set up the story for today, and it looks very, very, very long. So, strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the story so far. You are a Grand Master of the New Order of the Kai, the warrior elite of Summerland. It is autumn of the year MS 5083, 33 years after the First Order of the Kai was nearly wiped out by the Dark Lords of Helgadad. These champions of evil, who were sent by the Dark God Nar to destroy your fertile world of Magnamund, have since been destroyed. Lone Wolf, the leader of your illustrious fighting order, was the only survivor of the massacre. As a young Kai initiate, he stood amidst the burning wreckage of the old Kai monastery and vowed to avenge the slaughter of his comrades. In the year MS 5070, he kept his pledge, when alone he infiltrated the foul domain of the Dark Lords and destroyed the infernal city of Helgadad, the base of their evil power. With the fall of Helgadad, chaos befell the Darkland armies, who had, until then, been poised to conquer all Magnamund. Quickly, their disorder escalated into a mutinous civil war, which allowed the Freeland Alliance armies of Magnamund time enough to recover and launch a successful counteroffensive. Against all odds, a swift and total victory was secured over the feuding armies of evil. Following the demise of the Dark Lords, peace has reigned in your homeland of Summerland. Under the direction of Lone Wolf, the ruined monastery of the Kai was rebuilt and restored to its former glory, and the raising of a new order of Kai warriors was swiftly established. You are one of this new generation of Kai recruits. You were born in Summerland in the year MS 5063, during the time of the war against the Dark Lords. When you were 7 years old, you were sent by your father to the Kai Monastery. There, under the tutelage of Lone Wolf, you developed your martial skills and honed the special Kai abilities which lay dormant within you. During the years that followed, your skills were nurtured and sharpened to perfection by long hours of study and rigorous training. Your exceptional talents have helped you to master all of the Kai and Magna Kai disciplines, and you have risen swiftly through the ranks of the New Order to become one of only 5 who now hold the high rank of Kai Grand Master. It is an achievement which has brought great honor upon you and your family. In the year MS 5077, your skill and courage were put to the test when an attack was launched upon the Kai Monastery during Lone Wolf's absence. By means of a shadow gate, an astral corridor between the physical world of Magnamund and the many ethereal domains which lie beyond it, Nar sent forth a host of dragon creatures to besiege the monastery and lay waste to all Summerland. He had chosen his time well, yet his evil plan was thwarted by the tenacious defense that you and your brethren maintained until the siege was raised by Lone Wolf and the King's army of Summerland. During the 6 years that have elapsed since the defeat of his minions, Nar has endeavored to enact his vengeance upon the Kai. He commands many agents of evil upon Magnamund, and they wait quietly in the shadows for the day when they may serve their fell master. One such agent was Lord Van Dyen of Eldanora. Guided by Nar, Van Dyen sought and found 3 ancient runes of evil. Empowered by his discoveries, Van Dyen summoned a vast army of reptilian warriors, the Vorka, and he used them to conquer and occupy the lands of his peaceful neighbors. Emboldened by his martial successes, Van Dyen then carried the war further afield. By midsummer of this year, his army had overrun much of central Magnamund, including the realm of Lyris, one of Summerland's oldest allies. From war-torn Lyris, there arrived at the Kai Monastery an old man called Gwinion the Sage. He was a learned scholar, and was revered by the Kai, for he had aided Lone Wolf on many occasions in the past. He entreated your leader to help save his country from Van Dyen's horde. Without hesitation, Lone Wolf pledged to mount a Kai crusade to raise the siege of Veretta, its capital city. The Vorka had been the key to Van Dyen's military successes, and he had a seemingly endless supply of these reptilian fighters. In order to defeat Van Dyen and save Lyris, Lone Wolf knew that he had to cut off Van Dyen's supply of Vorka reinforcements at their source. Gwinion had agents in Duodon, the capital of Eldanora, who had sent word that thousands of Vorka were being created inside the city. This was the source of the enemy's horde. Gwinion's agents in Duodon had confirmed that Van Dyen's runes were being kept in the city's stronghold, a daunting fortress called Skull Tor. Lone Wolf asked you to travel alone to Duodon to make contact with Gwinion's agents. They knew a secret route into the fortress and would help you to gain entry. Once inside, you were to find and destroy the runes as quickly as possible. Upon completion of the mission, the agents would assist you to evade Van Dyen's troops. The thought of venturing hundreds of miles behind enemy lines to undertake such a dangerous quest filled you with a sense of foreboding. Yet you also felt greatly honored to have been chosen for the mission, and you did not flinch from your duty. Your journey to Duodon was fraught with many perils, yet you overcame them all and made contact with Gwinion's agents. With their help, you gained entry to Van Dyen's stronghold of Skull Tor and destroyed the evil runes, thereby extinguishing the source of the power by which the Vorka horde were permitted to exist. Van Dyen's army dissolved, and the Kai were then able to enter Lyris and raise the siege of Veretta. During your mission in Skull Tor, you discovered that the Vorka were not the only creatures that Van Dyen had summoned by the power of the runes. A demonic entity called Zorkon the Soul Taker had also been brought to Magnamund from his lair upon the Plane of Darkness, the ethereal domain of Nar. Having fought and defeated this creature, you believed that he had perished forever when subsequently you smashed the runes. Sadly, this was not so. Hey Saito, how you doing? Good to see ya. The skeleton and Ben Kingsley cursing a Buddha? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, looking at the cover? It doesn't really look like Ben Kingsley that much. I don't know why. I think that's supposed to be Lone Wolf, not a Buddha. I don't know. It's a weird cover. It is. It's a weird one. Following your victory at Skulltor, you were met by Guildmaster Baindon, the leader of Summerland's Guild of Magicians, who spirited you away from Duodon aboard his flying ship Cloud Dancer. Within minutes of your arrival aboard, a route was charted, and a course set for the city of Veretta. The journey by air took little more than 2 hours, and, although darkness had fallen, Baindon's skilled crewmen had little difficulty locating the city. Its siege-damaged walls were ringed with beacons of fire that were visible for 50 miles. As you drew closer, you saw the lifeless remains of the Vorka horde spread out across the plain surrounding Veretta, and the regiments of the allied armies marching proudly towards its gates. The beacons guided Baindon's craft towards the center of the city, where it was made to hover above the halls of learning, Gwynion's home. Swiftly you were lowered by cage to the grounds of this magnificent building, where the New Order Kai were encamped. There you were greeted by the thunderous cheer of your fellow kinsmen, and the proud embrace of Lone Wolf and Gwynion the Sage. It was a joyful and victorious reunion, one that will live forever in your memory, and in the legends of the New Order Kai. News of your arrival spread quickly through Veretta, and you were feted by its grateful citizens. By your brave action, the cruel siege of their city had been lifted. Following a night of celebration, Lone Wolf ordered you to return in triumph to the Kai Monastery aboard Cloud Dancer. He chose to ride home with the New Order, and was expected to arrive in a week's time. Gladly you obeyed your leader's command, and shortly before noon you waved farewell to your proud brethren from the deck of Baindon's magnificent flying ship. Early the next day, you arrived at the Kai Monastery and delivered the glad news of your victory at Skulltor. Warmly, the garrison praised your achievement and listened in awe when you recounted the details of your perilous mission. You informed them that Lone Wolf and the Kai Crusaders were returning from Veretta and would arrive at the monastery in 7 days' time. You were the highest-ranking Kai present at the monastery, and so you took charge and oversaw preparations for their welcome home. 5 days passed, and the preparations were completed ahead of schedule. Everyone was looking forward with eager anticipation to their return. It was late that afternoon when a Kai scout called Gold Rain Yep. Gold Rain arrived unexpectedly at the monastery. His face and clothes were badly travel-stained, and it was clear from his state of near exhaustion that he had ridden hard without rest. You were hoping that he had glad tidings, but you soon heard to the contrary. Gold Rain had grave and shocking news to impart. You learned that Lone Wolf had disappeared. During an overnight encampment on the outskirts of Ruinon, your leader had been abducted. Those who witnessed the abduction said that Lone Wolf was engulfed by a whirling black shadow that fell upon him from out of a stormy sky. So swift was the attack that your fellow Grand Masters were unable to prevent him from being carried away. So that's not good. Lone Wolf abducted is pretty serious. If Lone Wolf can't fight this thing, how am I going to? Alright, Saito, that's cool. I will try not to worry. A cold chill ran down your spine as you listened to Gold Rain's report. His description of the whirling black shadow was identical to the form adopted by Zorkon the Soul Taker. You were filled with a gnawing sense of doubt, a dire fear that the destruction of the rune used by Van Dyen to summon Zorkon did not bring about the fell creature's demise. Instead, it had trapped Zorkon upon Magnamund. Immediately, you suspected that Lone Wolf's abduction was an act of revenge. Your Kai sixth sense told you that Lone Wolf was still alive and present somewhere upon Magnamund, but you could not determine exactly where that place was. Probably if I had Kai Alchemy, I could have determined exactly where it was. You had achieved a great victory at Duodon, but the shocking news of Lone Wolf's disappearance cast a deep shadow over your triumph there. You feared that the loss of your illustrious leader was too high a price to pay for the defeat of Van Dyne and his Vorka hordes. Your natural instinct was to do everything in your power to find Lone Wolf and release him from his shadowy abductor, but you knew not where to look. Hurriedly, you dispatched a rider to Torin and summoned Guildmaster Baindon to an emergency council at the Kai Monastery. He responded swiftly to your summons and arrived within hours aboard Cloud Dancer. He was accompanied by Lord Ramoa of Desi, an elder magi magician who was also Lone Wolf's oldest friend and advisor. Ramoa confirmed your suspicions that Zorkon had been summoned to Magnamund by the power of the runes. When you smashed the runes, this entity could not return to the plane of darkness from whence it had come. Inadvertently, your action had trapped Zorkon upon Magnamund. The arrival upon your world of this powerful creature of evil had not gone unnoticed by the Elder Magi. From afar, they had sensed Zorkon's presence, and, through the use of their old kingdom magic, Ramoa and his fellow elders had charted his movements. For a short while, following the destruction of the runes, the creature had roamed the planet freely. But his freedom was soon curtailed. Lord Ramoa then told you of an evil sorcerer called Zaal. He is a necromancer who dwells in hiding in Gad Helona, a former Dark Lord city fortress located in the desolate wastes of northern Skaror. Zaal is also an agent of Nar, who, since the demise of the Dark Lords, has patiently awaited the chance to serve his fell master. During the days before Lone Wolf's abduction, Ramoa and the Elder Magi detected streams of psychic communication coursing between Gad Helona and the Plane of Darkness. Nar was transmitting to Zaal the secrets of a ritual of binding, by which the freed spirit of Zorkon could once again be enslaved, said Ramoa. We now know that this ritual was enacted successfully by Zaal in the stronghold of Gad Helona. Nar's... Oh, then we're switching to Baindon. Nar's insatiable thirst for revenge is a menace that Lone Wolf has had to live with since the day he destroyed the Dark God's champions, said Guildmaster Baindon. He maintains his vigilance against the constant threat of assassination by the agents of Nar, yet it seems he's been caught off guard during the long march home to Summerland. Through the ritual enacted by Zaal, Nar has gained control over Zorkon, replied Ramoa. He sent this creature to assassinate Lone Wolf at a Kai encampment near Ruinon, yet the attempt was unsuccessful. Zorkon failed to kill Lone Wolf, but he was able to subdue and abduct him. So where is Lone Wolf now? You asked, anxiously. He is imprisoned in Gad Helona, replied Ramoa, and he is in great peril. Only his supreme master disciplines and the power of the Summer Sword, his magical blade, have spared him from death by the hand of Nar's foul creation. Your leader is brave and resourceful, but I fear that Zorkon's frequent attacks will weaken and eventually destroy Lone Wolf unless he is rescued quickly. Selflessly you volunteered to attempt such a rescue. Ramoa and Baindon were impressed by your courage and your confidence, and readily they agreed to help you achieve this difficult task. Ramoa informed you that Gad Helona is occupied by Zaal and his cohorts, which comprise Hammerland bandits and remnants of the army of Dark Lord Schlanzor, the former ruler of this city fortress. Think Nar's a bit like a crazy ex, Saito? Yeah, Nar just never lets this shit go. Just never lets it go. The stronghold is located in a remote volcanic region, surrounded by a petrified forest from which it takes its name, "It is a difficult place to reach and assault by force," said Ramoa. "But where an army may fail, a single Kai may triumph," interjected Baindon, wisely. "At length you discussed the rescue and agreed upon a plan of action. Baindon will transport you aboard his flying ship Cloud Dancer to a valley in the Shazar Hills, situated 50 miles to the south of Gad Helona. Here you will disembark and then approach the fortress on foot. Baindon will remain aboard his flying ship safely out of sight of Zeol's lookouts, where he will await a telepathic signal from Lone Wolf to confirm his rescue. Upon receiving this signal, he will bring Cloud Dancer into the center of Gad Helona in order to collect you both. If you are unable to complete your mission to set Lone Wolf free, you must make your own way back to the flying ship. During your mission, Lord Ramoa and the Elder Magi will use their combined powers to disrupt the channel of communication that exists between Nar and his agent Zeol. Ramoa is confident that this action will serve to prevent Zeol from detecting the arrival of Cloud Dancer, and it will also help to keep secret your approach to his grim stronghold." And that is the story so far. So that is where we find ourselves at the beginning of this book. We're going to ride on the Cloud Dancer over there. We're going to walk to Gad Helona. We walk from here. And we're going to sneak in and we're going to try to rescue Lone Wolf. The stakes have never been higher. Except when the world was a stake, but whatever. The stakes, the personal stakes have never been higher. And off we go to rescue Lone Wolf. Game rules have not changed. Kai name has not changed. So now we need to select a new Grandmaster discipline because we completed another book. Which one will we select this time? I'll tell you which one it's not going to be. It's not going to be Kai Alchemy. Kai Screen could be really good. Really good. I'm going to get Kai Screen. And Kai Screen says, during psychic combat, New Order Grandmasters are able to construct mind fortresses capable of protecting themselves and others. The strength and capacity of these fortresses increase as a New Order Grandmaster advances in rank. The stakes have never been higher because there's a real threat of Fire Snake becoming the new leader of the Kai. Yeah, that would be a disaster. Bardsmanship for everybody! Yeah, that would be a disaster. Alright. So, moving forward. Oh, I also get to add 1 to my combat skill and 2 to my endurance. Because I gained a talent, I leveled up, basically. Before you leave the Kai Monastery and begin your journey to Gad Helona, you equip yourself with a map of that territory. Let's check it out. Oh, this one's in black and white. This is the first one I've seen that wasn't in color. Get rid of the book cover for a minute. Here's Gad Helona and surrounding territories. You've got Gatan, Neo Gizaga. Gad Helkona's up here. The Shazar Hills is Cragmantle. There's Torgar, which we went to in whichever book that was, the Dungeons of Torgar. We've been to Torgar as Lone Wolf before. The Hammerlands. So this is kind of southern Darklands, I guess. And there's the place. And there's a lot of scary looking forest around it. Like, those trees look a lot more fucked up than these, like, normal trees down here. If indeed they are trees. A volcano going off over here. Alright. The eye sees you. So there's the map. I'm not sure how much good the map is going to do us this time. We're going to put the map, though, in its own little tab here so that if we need to, we can just go check it out. And a pouch of gold. Find out how much gold is in the pouch. Pick a random number and add 20. We got 27 additional gold. I've got 40 on me. Well, let's just max it out, I guess. Got a little bit of loon. You know what? Fuck having loon. No, I'll keep those 8 loon. I'll keep them. And I'll go to 48 crowns. 48 crowns and 8 loon is the max 50 crown thing. I can also select 5 items from the list below. An axe, a sword, a quiver with 6 arrows. I'll refresh my arrows back up to 6. That's 1 item. A flute. Don't need one. I've already got a lute. I will take 2 meals, though. I will take 2 meals. I will take a rope. And I will take a potion of Lomspur. And I'm good to go. I've got my Kai weapon, Frappe Soleil, also known as Sun Strike. When used in daylight, it gets an extra bonus. Rules of combat, still the same as always. Here are the ranks. We are a Grand Guardian, I think, now. Alright, here's our improved disciplines. First of all, we'll look through the old ranks to see if anything improved on Sai screen. Or Kai screen. Doesn't look like it. Grand Guardian is our new rank, so let's see what's improved on our abilities for this rank. Assimilance we don't have. Herb Mastery we do have. Kai Grand Guardians who possess this discipline are able to use their advanced knowledge of Herb Mastery to produce explosive compounds from simple organic materials. Oh shit, son, we can make bombs now with Herb Mastery. That herb is the bomb. Literally. Elementalism, we have that. Through the use of this discipline, Kai Grand Guardians are able to protect themselves from the effects of storm force winds by creating a sphere of calm air around their bodies. Initially, this protective bubble lasts for 1 minute, but duration steadily increases as a Grandmaster ascends in Kai rank. We don't have Hunt Mastery, we do have Kai Surge. Kai Grand Guardians who possess mastery of this discipline are able to attack up to 3 enemies in psychic combat simultaneously. That's pretty cool. We do have Kai Screen. Kai Grand Guardians who possess this discipline are able to exercise a defensive psychic skill known as Mind Blend. This cloaking ability enables a Kai Grand Guardian to protect their mind and also prevent it from being detected by a hostile psychic probe. That seems really useful. I'm really glad I picked up Kai Screen. And we also have Magi Magic. Grandmasters who have reached the rank of Kai Grand Guardian are able to use the following battle spells of the Elder Magi. Splinter. This causes breakable items such as bottles, jugs, mirrors, windows, etc. to shatter to pieces. The range of this spell increases as a Grandmaster rises in rank. Alright, that's not bad. Flame Shaft. This causes the tip of any arrow, or arrow-like missile, to burn fiercely with a magical flame which cannot readily be extinguished by normal means. That's pretty cool. We can light our arrows on fire. Magically. Alright, I'll take it. I'll take it. Moving on. New Order Wisdom is where it lies to you and tells you your combat skill doesn't matter, but it really does. And we come to Section 1, the actual beginning of the book. The actual beginning. Here we are. Are you ready? Are you ready to begin this story? Are you ready to begin this grand adventure? Here we go. You decide to begin your air voyage to the Shazar Hills at first light the following day. In the few hours which remain before dawn, both you and Baindon make final preparations for the long journey west. You summon to your chambers Winter Oak, a Kai Archmaster. What the hell's an Archmaster? And tell him of the mission you are about to undertake at daybreak. He is the most senior member of the garrison, and you place him in command during your absence. The Kai Crusaders are expected to arrive in 2 days' time, and it will be his duty to inform them of your whereabouts and to keep the monastery safe until you and Lone Wolf return. Having completed your preparations, you sleep for a few hours and rise shortly before dawn. Lord Ramoa escorts you to the monastery training park, where, hovering above, you see the sleek hull of Cloud Dancer glinting in the moonlight. Ramoa has chosen not to accompany you on the voyage. Instead, he will remain here, at the monastery, and maintain contact with Baindon by means of a seeing stone. One of the ship's lookouts sees you crossing the park below, and he orders a boarding cage to be lowered from the stern deck. As you wait for it to touch the ground, Ramoa takes from his pocket a sigil of platinum fixed upon a loop of braided twine. He presses the amulet into your hand and insists that you wear it at all times. It's like the Kai version of a GED. Okay. "It is an artifact imbued with old kingdom magic," he says, sagely. "It has protective powers that may help you when you enter Gad Helona. Lone Wolf possesses a similar sigil, and I am sure that it has helped him to resist Zorkon thus far." Alright, yeah, Lone Wolf has had that platinum amulet for a minute. You accept the sigil and slip its braided noose over your head. Platinum amulet, which does not take up a slot. I'll take it. Boom, platinum amulet. That deserves a TM right there. Alright. To continue, turn to 282. Lord Ramoa wishes you good luck as you step into the boarding cage in readiness to be winched up to the flying ship. Baindon is waiting on the stern deck to meet you, and together you wave farewell to Ramoa as Cloud Dancer gets underway. Rapidly, the monastery recedes from view as the ship ascends into the clouds and forges a course across the grey Derncrag Mountains. You retire with Baindon to his quarters, where together you study his navigational charts. The Shazar Hills lie 1,000 miles away on a southwesterly bearing, and Baindon anticipates your arrival there within 12 hours. Wow, this thing moves pretty quickly, doesn't it? That moves pretty quickly. During the voyage, Baindon recalls the year MS 5075. Ah yes, it was a good year. When he was abducted by Nadzaranim sorcerers and imprisoned in the Dark Lord Fortress of Cog. Alright, maybe it wasn't such a good year. Had it not been for Lone Wolf's brave and determined effort to save him, he would have surely perished there. Although anxious about Lone Wolf's abduction, Baindon is also grateful to have been given this chance to help you save his friend from a similar predicament. "The task you've undertaken will be difficult and dangerous," he says, "but I beseech you, Grand Master, not to forswear your vow to save your master." Why would I forswear my vow? Like, this is all I have to do in life, right here. Of course I'm gonna do it. You think I'm just gonna be like, fuck him. I can't really be bothered to save Lone Wolf after all. I'm just gonna give up. Readily you reassure Baindon of your iron resolve to rescue Lone Wolf, no matter what difficulties lie ahead. It is shortly before dusk when Cloud Dancer approaches its destination. This is a shallow valley at the northwestern edge of the Shazar Hills, close to its border with the petrified forest of Helona. You heed the lookout's cry and go up on deck to observe the sullen landscape from the port rail. Meanwhile, Baindon takes command of the ship's helm in readiness for a landing. As the craft descends, you survey the surrounding deadlands with trepidation. To the west, beyond the barren hilltops, a dull orangey light glows amidst the dust-choked clouds, proclaiming the hour of sunset. There is a strong sulphurous smell, and the distant hiss and rumble of active volcanoes lend further menace to this bleak, inhospitable landscape. That sounds like a nice place. Sounds like it's got its own kind of terrible beauty. Baindon brings Cloud Dancer gently to earth, where it settles into the smooth, dusty soil. As his crewmen busy themselves securing its anchorage, he helps you to disembark. "Godspeed and good fortune, Grandmaster," he says as you get ready to descend to the ground by ladder. "I shall await Lone Wolf's signal with optimism. Remember, when you have freed your master, he must speak to me telepathically. Only when I have received his mental command shall I approach Gad Helona. I will bring Cloud Dancer into the center of the city fortress and look for your signal. May Ashir protect you both." You heed Bainden's words and bid him farewell before descending to the ground. Then, with a final wave, you turn and trek north across the barren valley floor. In the distance, there is an undulating ridge of hills which lie between you and the petrified forest of Helona. So that's why that forest looked so much different on the map, because it's a petrified forest. In order to reach your final destination, the fortress at the heart of this dead timberland, you must first traverse this range of hills. You stop for a few moments to observe the hills in the failing light and determine two places where you may be able to cross them. The first is a narrow gully that bisects the range, and the second is a winding, wind-swept trail that ascends to the peak. Interesting choice. I don't really like going up gullies, to be honest with you. They tend to be full of all kinds of bullshit loose rocks and stuff that you've got to stumble over the whole way. Following the winding trail to the crest sounds better. A bitter wind arises from the north as the gloom of dusk surrenders to darkness. It whips the sulphurous dust into whirling eddies that skitter across the valley floor and dance away into the distance. Determinedly, you trek across the hill trail with your head lowered and your cloak drawn close about you. Blasts of grit sting your face and hands, and as you struggle up the steep track towards the crest of the hill, you are forced to lean into the wind to keep from being blown over. Can we elementalism this shit? As you slowly draw closer to the hill crest, you catch sight of a rocky knoll that promises some protection from this vicious dust storm. Oh hey, we can elementalism this shit. Awesome. Let's do this. Using your advanced mastery of elementalism, you create a protective bubble of calm air around yourself, which serves to protect you from the abrasive dust. This sphere of still air remains intact until you reach the crest of the hill, where you are then able to take shelter at a rocky knoll. As you settle yourself into a hollow beside a pillar of jagged stone, you are startled by a loud, screeching caw that echoes in the dark skies above. Uh-oh. It's a doom raven. I don't think that's a thing, but it could be. You use your Magnikai discipline to magnify your vision before you scan the brooding sky. Swooping and soaring among the clouds overhead, you glimpse two bat-winged creatures with scaly gray-green hides and long, serrated beaks. Are these Kron? One of these beasts is carrying a large object clamped in its mouth, which the other is trying hard to wrest from its grasp. It claws at its rival's neck, forcing the creature to drop the object, which plummets to the ground and splashes into the dust at the exit from the gully. The creatures continue to struggle, tearing maniacally at each other with beak and claw, until they drop from the sky, both mortally wounded. Those things seem kind of dumb. With grim fascination, you watch as they tumble to the ground, still locked in deadly combat, and slam into the dusty soil. I'm gonna go examine the bodies, because that sounds interesting. Sounds more interesting than not doing that. You leave your shelter and make a careful descent to the end of the gully where the bodies are half buried in the dust. The first one that you come to is the carcass of a mountain goat, the object that the flying creatures were fighting over. You suspect that this luckless animal was taken from the foothills of the Ogshazar Mountains near the Skarorian city of Cragmantle, for this hardy breed of ruminants are common there. When you leave the carcass and approach the crushed remains of the second body, your stomach churns when you recognize its scaly, bat-winged form. It is a Kron. Called it. A vile breed that was spawned and used by the Dark Lords to provide flying mounts for their Giak and Dracarum armies. Well, considering that Lone Wolf, as an initiate, was killing Kron in, like, his first or second book, I don't think fucking Grandmaster Firesnake needs to really get all of, oh no, it's a Kron. Whatever, I could hack down Kron by the dozen. But maybe some Kron are like higher level than other Kron, you know? This is a higher level area. A vile breed that was spawned and used by the Dark Lords to provide flying mounts for their Giak and Dracarum armies. Dark Lord Zagarna mustered many thousands of these beasts when he invaded Summerland, and it was their assault by air which resulted in the destruction of the Kai Monastery. Some of the Kron survived the fall of Helgadad and the demise of their Dark Lord masters, and you think it likely that this one has come from Gad Helona and was out scouting for food. The third carcass is also that of a Kron, but unlike the other, this one is equipped with a crude leather harness and collar. Oh, somebody was riding this one. Let's examine this carcass more closely. Why wouldn't I want to? Come on. What? It never almost Wow. I get to use bardsmanship for something? You crouch beside the broken neck of the Kron and discover a tube of hide attached by a chain to its collar. You flip open the end of the tube and discover that it contains a hollow metal pipe drilled with holes. If you possess... I never expect to see that. If I go to examine a body, I don't expect to see if you possess bardsmanship. I never really expect to see if you possess bardsmanship. But not out of the blue like this. Wow. It's like Christmas. Now let's do some bard shit. Your Kai discipline helps you to recognize the purpose of this pipe. It is a crude tin whistle which can be used to summon and control a... Okay, hold on. I really needed the Kai Grandmaster discipline of bardsmanship to figure that shit out? It's an animal that's domesticated, that's used for riding. It's got a fucking whistle attached to it. What the fuck else is that whistle gonna be for? Of course that whistle is used to summon and control a Kron. I mean, I could figure that out, and I know I'm not a Grandmaster or a Bard. If you wish to keep this Kron pipe... I like that name, Kron pipe. Fucking smoking that Kron pipe. Alright, record it on your... Oh yeah. Oh, we're keeping the Kron pipe. We're keeping it forever. Kron pipe is never going away. Alright. We're gonna put it here after my loot. Kron pipe. Yep. We got us a Kron pipe, yo. Awesome. So, moving on. With fearful disquiet, you take your first faltering steps into the dead forest of Helcona. This timberland reeks of sulphurous decay, and the perpetual half-light of the Darklands lends it a fearsome aspect. Guided by your Kai tracking instincts, you forge a northerly course through this poisoned maze of twisted trunks and thorn-guarded scrub, until you are halted by a violent tremor that makes the ground heave and split. You grab at a knotted bough to stop yourself from falling, but the rotten wood crumbles in your hand and you are knocked off your feet. Close by, a fissure opens in the dusty ground, and from its depths there emerges a host of giant black flies. They take to the air and swarm above you, their ghost-gray wings buzzing loudly. You sense that they are hungry and are preparing to launch an attack. Oh shit, they're like bloat flies from Fallout 3 and 4. I engage vats and shoot them. No, I guess I can't. Fucking, look at that nasty, look at this business right here. This fucking cray right here is not a good sign, is not good. It's like a nasty little fanged maw just sticking out from their proboscis or whatever. I'm not a fan. Alright. Do I want to evade this swarm of hostile giant flies, or do I want to stand and... I was going to say stand and bang, but stand and defend yourself. I want to play my Kron pipe. I play my Kron pipe. Where's that option? I feel like I should try to evade them, because there's no sense in getting into a meaningless fight here. Let's evade the flies if we can. Damn it. You scramble to your feet and run headlong into the forest, but the giant swarm follows, and it attacks repeatedly as you dodge and weave through the tangle of warped trees. Twice you were bitten, on the back and shoulder. Lose 2 endurance points. See, we might have been able to kill them without losing any endurance points if I just would have fought them. Before you decide to stop running and retaliate, you unsheath your Kai weapon and turn to face the buzzing swarm, but to your surprise they disperse and fly away before you are able to land your first blow. At first you think that it is your brave stand that has frightened them off, but it is not until you look to the north that you discover the real reason why the swarm has suddenly fled. Oh good, something worse is here. The trees in this section of the forest are blanketed with webs, no, I don't like this, that are woven together to form a dense, impenetrable barrier. Creamy white gossamer strands are wound tightly around the trunks, and loose threads dangle from their twisted branches to flutter in the breeze. Trapped amidst this web are scores of giant flies. They hang suspended like chrysalises, cocooned in acres of silken thread. Dude, an acre is a lot of thread. Cold sweat trickles down your face as you contemplate what could have constructed such a large and intricate web. Yeah, I'm contemplating some shit I don't want to mess with. Then your heart skips a beat when suddenly you detect movement within it. I do not possess grand passmanship. I do possess grand get the fuck out of here ship. Elementalism, burn all these webs. And I play my cron pipe. Nope. 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 I'm not a fan. Your Magna Chi discipline of passmanship warns you of an impending ambush, but you cannot determine the direction of the threat. You are peering into the curtain of webs in search of the source of the movement that you detected moments ago, when suddenly you hear a noise. It comes from behind you. That's the worst place for a noise to come from. Swiftly you spin around to see that a large section of the ground has opened up like a great trapdoor. From its subterranean lair, a colossal black spider hoists itself out of the ground and perches on the lip of the dark aperture. Swiveling on jointed legs, this titanic arachnid clacks its fanged maw as it fixes you with a cluster of crimson eyes that rotate and pulsate hypnotically. And here's the image. That thing is fucking creepy looking. Look at the, like, spiny thorn things on its legs. Those are some big fucking fangs, too. Nope. Kill this fucking thing with fire. Kill it with fire. An unexpected wave of fatigue washes over your body, making you feel weak and sleepy. You draw upon your Magna Chi discipline of Psi screen. Hey, I have Chi screen, motherfucker. I don't fuck around with that scrub-ass Psi screen stuff anymore. To counter the seductive effect of the spider's hypnotic power, and at once the creature senses your resistance. Fearing that you may escape its clutches, it raises its great hairy forelegs and squirts forth a jet of clear fluid from a vent below its maw. Dude, it's pissing on me. The fuck? Desperately, you attempt to dive aside as this stream of sticky liquid comes gushing towards your chest. Yeah, I need to get away from that. That's no good. Random number. If you have Chi screen, add 4, which is great because I just got Chi screen. So, as long as I roll a 2 or higher, I'm good. Do not fuck up here. No! Why? Every time I say that! Every time I just have to roll a super low number to succeed. And it's just like, okay, the odds are extremely good. How am I not gonna make this? All I have to roll is a 2 or higher. Every damn time, how do I end up rolling a 0? I'm being fucking trolled by this program. Fuck you, Stats Keeper. I think you can hear me, and I think you're trolling me on purpose. Because you do that shit to me every damn time. I got a 5 or lower. Oh, man. I forgot. It's very important. Yep. I forgot. Alright. So there we go. 5 or lower. Let's do this. The liquid splashes your legs and quickly sets, its gluey fibers pinning you to the ground. You unsheath your Kai weapon and strive desperately to cut yourself free from this web before the giant spider leaps upon you. Random number again. Oh, that 3 or lower is going to be insta-death right there. Grand Hunt Mastery I don't have. Oh, but I do get another... That reminds me, I get another weapon with my Grand Weapon Mastery. Take Warhammer. I get to add 1. Alright, so all I need to roll is 3 or better to not insta-die, probably. Here we go. I got a 4. Alright, at least I didn't get the lowest result this time. Turn to 265. Oh, good. You hack repeatedly at the sticky web and manage to cut yourself free, but you are not quick enough to avoid the spider's initial attack. It's a Skrizza. I play my Cron Pipe. Combat skill 48, endurance 40. Do not deduct any endurance points that your enemy may lose in the first round of this combat. Also, you must double any endurance points that you lose in the first round of combat only. If you possess the Kai weapon Kai Star, you may add the appropriate bonus gained from its unique properties. Alright, first of all, we're in fucking daylight. Second of all, it doesn't say that it's immune to Kai Screen or whatever, or Kai Surge. So I'm going to use Mind Blast, and I'm gonna deduct 4. I think it's 4. It is 4, right? Hold on. 265. It is 4, right? It is 4 if I use Mind Blast. It's 8 if I use the full Kai Surge. But I'm going to use Mind Blast, okay? So that means I get 5 taken off of his combat skill. So he's going to have a 43. For the first round of combat, I take double, and he takes none. Okay, that's the multipliers we just set. So here we go, round 1. He didn't even touch me in round 1. So that's good. Now this goes back to normal. Round 2, 41 versus 40, go. Alright, I lost 2, he lost 10. That's good, that's good. 39 versus 30. I lost 4, that hurts. Alright, 35, 24. I lost 2, he lost 10. He's fucking hurting me pretty bad here. 33 and 14. Alright, I finished him off. I finished him off without losing any more. But still, I'm down 10 endurance already, and we just damn started the book. I'm already down 10 endurance. Not great, really. Not great. Alright, let's go. The Skrizza shrieks a deafening cry as your Kai blade steals its life away. Its legs buckle and its gross body crashes down, staining the dusty soil with the dark ichor that pours from its many wounds. Its sprawling legs continue to twitch and convulse for several minutes, even after death has laid claim to its evil soul. Fuck that thing. Fuck that thing. As you step back from the dead spider, you hear the buzzing of giant dire flies. They are swarming in readiness to return. You suspect that they must be attracted to the bitter stench of the Skrizza's blood, but it is also the opportunity for vengeance that is drawing them here. For years, the Skrizza has trapped and consumed thousands of their kind, but now the time has come for them to wreak their revenge. Before the dire flies appear, you escape into the trees. The webs prevent you from heading directly north towards Gad Helona, and so you are forced instead to go east and detour around them. For 5 hours you trek through the dead forest before stopping to rest on the trunk of a fallen tree. You must now eat a meal. You cannot use Grand Hunt Mastery in this instance, for there are no flora or fauna that you can forage for in the petrified forest of Helona. See, I would, if I would have taken Grand Hunt Mastery, I'd have been pissed right now, because I'd been like, damn it, I just got this. Okay, so we got to eat a meal. Boop. Meal eaten. And we're just gonna put the cron pipe on its own line. Cron pipe. Hitting that cron pipe. Alright, so we're gonna keep going. Feeling revived after your brief rest, you decide to climb the tallest of the nearby trees in the hope that you can pinpoint your present location. Your effort is rewarded when you see the uppermost towers of Gad Helona rising above the tree line less than 15 miles to the northeast. With luck, you should reach the fortress within 4 hours. It is only an hour later when you happen upon a broad track through the forest. Its loose surface is rutted with wagon tracks, and when you look more closely, you discover evidence of traffic having passed this way recently in both directions. So some wagons came trundling through here? Bordering upon this trail are several prickly shrubs which are covered with tiny purple buds. Herb Mastery. Give it to me. Herb Mastery. Wish to examine the purple buds. Yes, I want to examine everything that I can ever examine. Come on. Herb Mastery! At first glance, these purple buds resemble tiny blackberries with prickly leaves and clusters of small, fleshy drupelets, whatever the fuck drupelets are. But on a closer inspection, you discover that they give off a pungent aroma that makes your eyes water. I do have Herb Mastery. Tell me about these blackberries. Your knowledge of Herb Mastery enables you to identify these buds. They are dargorse, the poisonous fruits of a prickly wilderness briar. You avoid touching them with your bare hands, for not only are they deadly poisonous, their juice is also a powerful irritant. If you wish to keep some of these buds, you can cover your hands with your cloak and gather enough for 1 dose. Dargorse buds. Well, yeah, we're gonna take them. Shit, yeah. Dargorse buds. Seriously? Yeah, it's a bad sign when a discipline is so useless that you get were you here? Were you watching earlier when I got to use bardsmanship? I got so excited. Dargorse buds. Bud. I was so excited. Get to use some bardsmanship. Man, this book has actually been fairly kind to me so far. I've already gotten to use elementalism and bardsmanship and herb mastery. All I need to be able to use now is astrology for like the perfect completion of. And I was in a situation where my brand new Kai screen was pretty useful. So, you know, not bad. So far, Joe isn't screwing me over too much. Let's turn to 120. And Kai Alchemy hasn't even been mentioned yet. This is like opposite day. As you trudge, or as some might say, trundle, as you trudge along the rutted trail, you become aware that the night sky is beginning to brighten. Somewhere high above the perpetual blanket of cloud that engulfs this hateful territory, day is breaking. At length, the trail arrives at a junction where another broad track joins it from the west. There are no signposts to mark the way, but your Kai sense of direction steers you towards the east, where a long slope ascends to a treeless ridge. When you come to the crest of this ridge and look beyond, you catch your first glimpse of the imposing walls of Gad Helona. Wow, we made it to Gad Helona already. That was much faster than I was expecting. Much faster than I was expecting. The broad-based fortress squats in a basin of rock at the center of the petrified forest. Its coal-black walls are cracked and crumbling like some fossilized relic that is riddled with decay. Within its curtain wall, with its decrepit watchtowers and great iron gate, there are scores of minarets and needle spires that seem to scratch malevolently at the passing clouds. You magnify your vision, and you see that the emblem of Dark Lord Schlanzor is still emblazoned upon the rust-red surface of the fortress gate. It resembles a great black spider perched upon the surface of a blazing sun. The blazing sun is exactly where a spider should be. Kill that shit with fire. Schlanzor may no longer be the commander of this stronghold, but the legacy of his rule remains. You observe the fortress for several minutes and take in every detail of its foul design. The great gate is secure and well guarded, but you note two places where you may be able to effect an entry without being seen. The first is a breach, #breach, to the west of the gate, where the wall has been undermined by a fissure of lava. The second is a great mound of rubble to the east of the gate, the remains of the upper stories of a collapsed watchtower. By climbing the mound, you could gain access to the fort through an arrow slit. Wait, I could fit through an arrow slit? Okay. Well, here's the thing. First of all, one, breach? No. I've had bad experiences with breaches. And lava? Not good. Fuck the lava and breach path. That can fuck right off. We're gonna climb up the mound of rubble instead. We're going to attempt an entry by scaling the mound of rubble at the base of the ruined watchtower. You leave the trail and make your final approach to the fortress under cover of the petrified trees. The perimeter around the base of Gad Helona has been cleared and leveled to provide an unobstructed field of fire for its defenders. To enter this area would have once brought a swift and certain death, but now the fortress garrison numbers but a fraction of the troops that used to patrol the battlements during the time of Dark Lord Schlanzor's rule, and you are quietly confident that you can cross this killing zone and reach the fallen tower without being seen. I mean, I do still have the Magna Chi discipline of invisibility, for fuck's sake. Why do I never get to use that? Aided by your... Oh, I did just get to use it, basically. The Kai camouflage skills. Okay. Aided by your Kai camouflage skills, you zigzag across the killing zone and take cover among the shattered blocks of stone lying strewn around the base of the damaged tower. When you are sure that your approach has gone unnoticed, you clamber up the mound of rubble towards an arrow slit 20 feet above. Here you crouch on a narrow ledge and peer into the dingy chamber that lies beyond the opening. Seated on a block of wood to the left of the aperture is an ape-faced creature with leathery, gnarled skin. It is scooping a gray, paste-like gruel from out of a stone bowl, which it swallows after having sucked it noisily through its jagged fangs. You recognize that this creature is a Krorn, a cruel and ungainly breed of Agarashi that hails from the Hammerlands. While the Krorn is hungrily devouring its breakfast, you contemplate how you can gain entry to the chamber without the creature raising an alarm. Alright, so here's the Krorn. It is pretty ripped, Saito. Looks like it's got some muscles. Doesn't even have a neck anymore. I know, right? Those fucking traps are like just engulfing its head, basically. Alright. So... this looks like something we can probably befriend just by talking to, don't you think? I think so. It looks like it's just misunderstood. Krorn lives matter, you know? Alright. If you possess Kai Alchemy. Motherfucker. I had to say something, didn't I? About, oh, Kai Alchemy is not even... and all of a sudden, immediately, Kai Alchemy. Must suck. Yeah, he's gotta, like, turn his entire torso to face whatever he's gotta look at. If you possess Magi Magic, I do have that. Bam! Magi Magic, son. The other Kai Alchemy. Just not as good. It's like the generic off-brand version of Kai Alchemy. Alright, here we go. Turn to 72. Let's Magi Magic some shit. Calling upon your knowledge of Old Kingdom magic, slowly you clench the fingers of your right hand as you whisper the words of the spell, Invisible Fist! Then you jab your fist at the Krorn's head, and the force of your spell materializes with dramatic effect. The creature is spun off its wooden block and slammed face first against the wall of the tower chamber. With a dull groan, it slides down the grimy wall, leaving a trail of bloodied gruel smeared in its wake. You know, it's all big and tough looking, but it's kind of got a glass jaw, honestly. One invisible fist and the motherfucker's down for the count? Come on. Expected more from you, Krorn. Expected more. Having incapacitated the tower lookout, you squeeze through the arrow slit and jump down into the chamber. The moment your feet touch down upon the flagstones, you hear a high-pitched squeak somewhere above your head. You glance up and a shadowy blur flashes before your eyes. Instinctively, you lash out with your fist and you feel your knuckles connect with something small and furry. Your punch rockets the object across the chamber and slams it against the far wall. Man, fists knocking things into walls is what this room is all about. There is a crack of breaking bones, and you see a furry, bat-like creature tumble limply to the floor. Man, that thing could have been friendly. It could have been just coming down to, like, lie on my shoulder and be my new friend and little, like, it could have been my familiar or something. And I just fucking wrecked it, just out of sheer spite. Having successfully incapacitated both the Krorn and its vengeful pet, you make a swift search of the watchtower chamber and discover the following items. An iron key, a sword, a halberd, which is actually a spear, enough food for 1 meal, 2 gold crowns, and 2 arrows. Alright, cool. I don't need the crowns or the arrows, I'm maxed out on those. But I will take the food. That fills up my backpack. Now I have 10 items now. And I will take the iron key. Is that a backpack item or a special item? It doesn't say it's a special item, but I would think a key. Keys generally tend to be special items, so I'm going to put it down as a special item. Couldn't you have waited for him to finish his gruel? He only gets that once a month. The rest of the time he has to eat Nutriloaf. Oh, man. Nutriloaf. Not great. It's not great. It really isn't. When you've been eating Nutriloaf and then you get to eat some real food, even if it's shitty-ass jail food or prison food, that food suddenly seems really good in comparison. Because at least it's, like, warm and has a texture other than that fucking scary-ass Nutriloaf texture. Okay. Okay, so I took an iron key, I took a meal. Having completed your search, you leave the chamber by an iron door and lock it behind you. A flight of spiral steps leads down to the ground level, where you discover a second door. This one is also unlocked. Carefully, you pull it open a few inches and peer through the gap. I'm surprised we're not getting a mini cliffhanger here like, what you see through the gap shocks you to your core. Turn to 315. It's kind of bullshit he usually pulls. Beyond the door, you can see the flagstoned approaches that lie within the main gate. Hammerland bandits draw pails of dirty gray water from a well by the south wall, and a patrol of sour-faced Dracarum marches past them with their spears couched untidily on their shoulders. You scan the streets of this city fortress and note that there are no individual dwellings here. The buildings of Gad Helona are grouped into 4 vast hexagonal blockhouse complexes. Sounds like a prison. Each topped by a cluster of minarets and spires. They are connected to one another by bridges that span the wide avenues between. At the center of the stronghold is a massive octagonal citadel. A broad ramp leads to its portcullis gate, which is guarded by 50 armored sentries. That's a lot. That's a lot of guards at the gate. I mean, can you imagine literally having 50 dudes standing around guarding your gate? That's a shitload. As you observe the Citadel, you sense a powerful concentration of evil lurking somewhere within its jet black walls. Its highest level is dominated by a domed observatory which emits a pulsating crimson light. Your sixth sense tells you that Lone Wolf is being held captive somewhere within this edifice, and it hardens your resolve to rescue him. Every day is like a slumber party at Gad Helona? What? What? I don't understand. Why is every day like a slumber party? Like, I don't even understand what you possibly could be making reference to. Anyway, there's a picture of the observatory at the top of the central building. You quickly determine that the Citadel gate is too heavily defended for you to dare risk entering by such a direct route. Yeah, you quickly determine that? Yeah, you see 50 dudes standing there, you're like, I don't think I'm going in that way. You know why? Because there's 50 dudes standing there. Instead, you resolve to get into this stronghold by one of the bridges that connect it to the surrounding blockhouse complexes. The nearest blockhouse is 100 yards from the doorway, and you can see two possible ways to enter. There are a pair of iron doors at ground level, and a staircase which leads up to a balconied landing. No individual dwellings. Ah, so you have this image of Dracarum sleeping with plushies and braiding each other's beards? That's super weird that that's where your mind went. I just imagined military barracks where everybody was in a room with bunk beds or something. Because they're soldiers. I don't know how you went to slumber party from there, but hey, that's cool, man. Okay, if Deus Ex has taught me anything, it's that going to the upper path is better than the ground level path. So, we're gonna try the staircase instead. You wait until the way is clear before you leave the doorway and hurry across the street towards the stairs. Pick a random number, because I just want to have an excuse to fuck with you right now. Here we go. A 5. That might be good. You reach the stairs undetected and run up the steps to the first floor. Here you discover a wooden door banded with crisscrossing strips of enameled iron. At its center, there is a polished black handle and a dial which is ringed with numbers. Oh god, it's a puzzle. You examine the dial closely and determine that it controls a combination lock. By turning the dial to its correct numerical setting, you will cause the lock to disengage and the door will open. Using your Kai sixth sense, you discover some contrived-ass reason why certain numbers relate to this lock that make no sense whatsoever. You discover that the correct setting is the same as the distance in miles that you traveled aboard the Cloud Dancer from the Kai Monastery to the Shazar Hills, divided by the 50 miles that you traveled on foot from the Shazar Hills to Gad Helona. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure I traveled 1,000 miles from the monastery to the Shazar Hills. So 1,000, divided by 50 would be 20? Is my math super bad? Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, why the fuck can't my sixth sense... If my sixth sense knows that, why doesn't it automatically know the number is 1,000? Divided by 50 is 20. Why would... These puzzles are always so silly. You're like fucking Jeremy Irons in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Oh god. For real though. For real. Alright, here we go. Oh, I don't need to turn to the fail one. I can turn to the actual one. It's 20. Yep, got it. The lock disengages with a soft, well-oiled snick, and you push open the door just enough to allow you to slip inside. Beyond the door, you discover a pillared hall, its circular walls bedecked, I love that word, bedecked with spattered shields. Not spattered, I like spattered too, but these aren't spattered, they're just battered. Its circular walls bedecked with battered shields and torn banners captured in battle. In the oily glow of a sputtering lantern, you see two Dracarums seated at a wooden table in the middle of the hall. They are playing dice, and neither warrior notices you enter. Quietly, you close the door and then hide behind one of the pillars which encircle this hall. Beyond their Dracarum, you can see an archway in the opposite wall which leads to a flight of stone steps. This appears to be the only other exit from the hall, and you resolve to reach it without being seen. Oh, I'm in stealth mode. Well, can I just, use double takedown on these guys? I surely have double takedown. I'm a Grand Master. Those guys have some badass looking helmets. Look at those dudes. They look like really brutish. I mean, yeah, that makes sense and everything, but... like, they're more brutish than I was expecting. That dude's rolling 3d6. He's rolling up an old school D&D character. He just rolled, like, really good, too. He's all happy. This dude's not amused, because he rolled a bunch of shitty stats. Noxmoo! How you doing? Good to see you, Noxmoo. What's going on? You've never heard of lock which make a noise you describe as snick? I guess I have heard of noises that you could describe as snick. That's not maybe the word I would have picked myself, but I understood what he meant by snick, I think. Dual harmonica feed instead of double takedown? Ah, yes. I'm doing okay, Nox, thanks. Alright, assimilants. Kai alchemy, motherfuckers. I do have elementalism, though. Yes, and Grand Defender. Let's elemental some shit. Here we go. By the use of your mastery of elementalism, you cause a misty vapor to rise slowly from a stone trough positioned inside the main door. Ah, I just popped smoke. What? It seems like that would cause a lot of suspicion. Like, a lot. Like, I don't know. Magical fucking vapors are rising from the floor. Should we sound the alarm? Nah, I'm sure it's nothing. Yes, elemental. Anything is a verb. Anything is a verb if you do it. Anything's a verb. Alright, cause a misty vapor to rise slowly from a stone trough positioned inside the main door. The Dracarum soon notice this vapor and leave their game to investigate its source. Hidden by the pillars, you are able to skirt around the hall unseen and leave through the archway. As you ascend the steps to a landing on a level above, you hear the Dracarum returning to their game of dice in the hall below. Again, they didn't think they should notify anybody about a fucking random magical mist coming up. Has this ever happened before? Never. But, fuck it. Sure, it's fine. Use my refried beans ability again? Oh god. I don't think it was that kind of vapor. Alright, they return to their game of dice in the hall below. Let's move on. Stealth success. Beyond the landing lies the entrance to a foul-smelling chamber, its floor littered with bones and scraps of rotting meat. Its walls are embellished with bas-reliefs showing demonic heads and bestial faces, with several humanoid creatures dancing in the background. They are partnered by scaly serpents that rise up from fissures in a volcanic landscape. To the right of the chamber, you can see the remains of a granite altar that has been split asunder by some great force. Its riven fragments lie heaped before the entrance to a shadowy alcove. To the left, you see a black iron door with a peephole drilled near its center. On the floor beside this door is a large wooden chest. Ooh, a chest. This sounds like a trap. A chest, yo. Probably a mimic. I'm gonna search the chamber. Just because you're evil doesn't mean you can't try and keep a place tidy. Yeah, I know, right, Saito? What's this smoke? Kragor must have eaten asparagus again, oh god. Alright, chamber, go. You begin your search by lifting the lid of the wooden chest that rests beside the door. Your sixth sense tells you that it is unlocked and unguarded by traps, and inside you discover why. It is filled with dirty, threadbare clothing. A cursory search of these grimy garments reveals a copper key. Yay, a copper key. It's a backpack item. That is one big key. This iron key is probably supposed to be a backpack item as well, but honestly, fuck them. I gotta get rid of something, yo. I gotta get rid of something if I want to take that key. I don't want to get rid of anything. I like everything that I have. Yeah, I'm never gonna use this Gilev, am I? Probably not. Let's get rid of the rope. When do you ever use a rope? I say that, but there was a thing to use a rope, like right in the last book. Like, the odds that I can use a rope are much higher than the odds that I can use Gilev. So let's keep the rope and get rid of the Gilev. See, the odds of using the Dargor Spuds are reasonably high because I got them in this book. So there's a chance that I'd use them in this book. Honestly, this iron key's probably... I gotta keep it fair here. They didn't say it was a special item, so it's probably a backpack item, so I should probably take it and get rid of the rope as well. Gilev was one of the options where you could use all those potions on the two guys. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. So the odds of it coming up again are pretty poor. I was excited when I got to identify it. But now I have a new thing that I got to identify, the Dargor Spuds, so... And I got a Kron Pipe that I was able to identify with Bardsmanship, amazingly enough. Alright, next you examine the altar and the dark alcove that lies behind its shattered stone surface. Engraved into the curved wall of the alcove, you discover several runes of unknown origin. You are tracing your finger around one of these ancient marks. Why would I do that? When suddenly you detect a secret panel. Oh, that's why I would do it. Okay, cool. Carry on, Fire Snake. Rotating my bottles of water here. I have a whole setup here with water. It's very complicated. I have 4 different bottles of water sitting here. Each one is half full of ice. I filled them. I do this all the time, not just for Lone Wolf, but I got used to doing this from when I was hiking all the time. I fill the bottle up halfway with water. Then I put it in my freezer at an angle so that the water freezes inside the bottle at an angle so that you can still fill up almost all the way down to the bottom of the bottle, but it's like still halfway full of ice. Then you fill it the rest of the way up with water. And if you take those with you when you're hiking, they stay cold for a really fucking long time as the ice slowly melts. And I use the same thing when I do these Lone Wolf streams, because when I do Lone Wolf streams, I don't take a break, generally. I think I took a break once out of all the Lone Wolf streams I've ever done. I don't take a break, I just keep going all the way through, but I need to drink a lot of water because I'm reading constantly for hours and hours, so, you know, I gotta drink a lot of water for my throat. And so I have my 4 half filled with ice, half filled with water bottles sitting here. And when I finish one, I have to like rotate its position so that then another one that's full is the one that's closest to me. It's complicated, but it's a whole thing. So anyway, behind the scenes. Now you got to look behind the veil of the Lone Wolf streams right there. All right, so I detected a secret panel. I do not have telenosis. You don't carry less water, though, Saito. How are you carrying less water? You're still carrying a whole bottle full of water, just some of it's frozen. But it's gonna melt. It's gonna melt, you know, over the course of hiking for hours. It's gonna melt. And you have enough water at hand in the beginning because the bottles are still halfway full, or almost halfway full of water. So you've got plenty of water in the beginning, and by the time you need that other water, it's melted. Ice is less dense than liquid water. Well, it's still plenty, though. Because I always take, when I go hiking, I always take more water than I need. Actually, significantly more. So that, A, in case something bad happens and I get stuck out on the trail much longer than I expect, I'll be fine. And B, in case somebody else needs water, like if I come across someone or if I'm hiking with other people and they don't have enough water or whatever. So I always carry, like, about twice as much water, probably, as I'm realistically going to need to drink. Just in case. So at that point, it really doesn't matter that half of it's frozen. Which is a lot of weight to carry, but I don't mind because I like carrying extra weight when I hike. Just like for the fitness benefits. I don't know. That way it makes it easier when I'm carrying less weight because I'm used to carrying more weight. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough hiking talk for now. Let's carry on with Lone Wolf. I do not have telenosis. Hey, the Cron Pipe hasn't been useless. I just got it. It hasn't had a chance yet. The Cron Pipe will be awesome. You just wait and see. It'll be amazing. You examine the panel carefully and discover a way that you can prise it open. But as you are preparing to lever out a section of stone, a sudden wave of doubt and unease makes you hesitate. Your sixth sense is warning you that all is not what it seems. Okay. If you wish to ignore your sixth sense. Nice! Deaver is just fucking blatantly trying to lure you into some shit right here. But at least he gives you a warning. If you wish to be a dumbass, turn to 312. Oh god, I've got to turn to 312, you guys. I can't not do it. I can't not do it. Even though it's like even though it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Yeah, would you like to lick the secret panel? I'm gonna do it, guys. I have to do it. I have to fucking YOLO this shit. I don't even care. Fuck it. Oh no! Bad things are happening. You force the blade of your Kai weapon into the crumbling mortar and lever the panel open. As it falls away from the alcove wall, there is a sudden searing flash of white light and a deafening explosion that sends you tumbling to the ground. Lose 3 endurance points. I can't even be mad about it this time. I can't even be mad because I did that shit to myself. I knew it was dumb and I did it anyway. Yeah, I just totally pulled a Saito and prized some ruby gems from the demon statue. As you scramble to rise, you hear the iron door squeak open, followed by the scrape of booted feet on the flagstoned floor. You sense that 3 armed men have entered the chamber and they are moving closer in an attempt to surround you. You cannot see them, for you have been blinded by the blast. Blinded by the blast. Revved up like a douche, another runner in the night. Blind. No, okay, so you must now rely on your other senses as you prepare to fight them to the death. So now I have to blind... What?! You must reduce your combat skill by 15! That blindness is so bad! It's so bad! 15! Yo! 15. It is a hard fight, Noxmoo. My shit has to go down by 15! Okay. Okay. It gives me a 34, so I'm still a little bit up on these bandits, but that means they're gonna hurt me. They're gonna hurt me. Alright, here's the story of a man named Brady. No, here's the story. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Mind Blast, because they're not immune to it. And I'm not in sunlight, so I don't get my thing from my sword. So 15, that's amazing. I mean, sure, it makes sense I'm blind, but I'm a goddamn Kai Grandmaster with Sixth Sense and fucking Divination and Hunt Mastery and Pathsmanship and Weapon Mastery and all this cool shit. You would think that I'd be able to just use my advanced Kai senses to daredevil this shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could see it reducing my combat skill by like 5. But 15, that's what it would reduce a normal man's combat skill by. A Kai Grandmaster should be able to fucking, you know, do some mystic bullshit to yeah, bardsmanship and this astrology maybe don't help so much here, but okay, fine. Fine. So let me go ahead and do this battle. So here's how this is going to go down. They essentially get a plus 15. Okay, so that puts them to 47, but then I'm taking 4 off for Mind Blast, so that puts them down to 43. Now, what I could do... I could use full-on Kai Blast and lower their combat skill to a 39, which would give me a 10-point advantage, but I'm automatically going to lose a point of endurance each round. Probably worth doing, though, because with a 6-point advantage... Like, which is going to hurt me more? Which is going to hurt me more? Fighting them with a 6-point advantage and just losing the endurance that I normally lose fighting them? Or fighting them with a 10-point advantage, which increases my chances of one-shotting them, and losing 1 automatically per round. I think I should go ahead and use the full Kai Blast. Don't you guys think? Don't you guys think I should? I think I should. So let's do it. That's going to lower me down... Oh wait, Kai Surge. Plus 8 CS, minus 1 EP per round. Perfect, I can just check the box. Oh, if I check the box though, I need to raise this back up to 47. Which is going to hurt you more, whichever... yeah, alright, so we're going to do this. We're going to use Kai Surge. I have a 10-point advantage. Maybe I can one-shot them, in which case I'll only lose 1 point from the Kai Surge. Alright, here we go. Round 1, 30 and 36. Ouch, ouch, I'm getting wrecked. 27 and 26. God, it's hurting so badly! 23 and 17. Okay. I finished them off that round. So I lost how much? How much did I have before? Endurance? I go down to 22. Hold on, how much did I have before? I had 30. I only lost 8 there. That's not so bad. I lost 8 plus this 3. So really I lost 11 endurance by fucking around with that thing where it's like, do you want to ignore your senses? Because if you do, you're going to lose 11 endurance for it. So, so that happened. I'm going to drink this potion right the fuck now. Save some room in my inventory and get some healing. And, alright, I beat the Hammerland Bandits. They hurt me. They hurt me real bad. So, pro tip, if you're playing Lone Wolf books, if a thing tells you, do you want to ignore your sixth sense? Do not ignore your sixth sense. Do not do it. Alright. Here we go. I win the combat. Let's move on. I'm gonna start healing myself too. That's 1 point. As your blade cuts down the third and last of your adversaries, you step back and sheathe your weapon. Then you cover your sightless eyes with the palms of your hands. Using your Magna Kai curing skills, you channel your innate healing powers through your palms and into your eyes, quickly mending the damaged tissues. And getting some health back? No? Okay. When your vision returns, the first thing you see is the bodies of 3 Hammerland bandits lying sprawled on the ground at your feet. Anxious to hide them in case they should betray your presence here, you drag each of your slain foes across the broken altar and into the alcove. Here you begin burying their corpses beneath the dust and rubble. If you wish to search the Hammerland... Of course I wish to search the Hammerlanders. What? Who doesn't want to search? Would you like to pet the doggy that is biting your arm because you took its beans away? Man, that dog went nuts on me. I was shocked. I was fucking shocked when the dog just straight up went nuts and killed Clementine because she took the beans away. I mean, that was some crazy shit. Alright, so let's search him. A search of their packs and pockets reveals the following items which may be of some use during your mission. Alright, arrows. I'm already maxed on arrows. I don't need swords. I don't need an axe or a dagger. I've already got a rope. Oh, the rope I got rid of, I can now get a new rope to replace it because I just drank that potion. Tinderbox, copper key. I've already got a copper key. And a torch. Torch could come in handy, but I don't think it'll come in so handy that I need to drop something to get one. Don't I have, like, night vision anyway with my Kai bullshit senses? Alright, so... Having hidden the bodies beneath the rubble, you turn your attention once again to the secret panel in the alcove. Your attempt to prise it open triggered the release of the explosive spell that blinded you, but now you detect that the magic has dissipated and the alcove is safe. You examine the rune-carved wall and discover a hollow which contains a shiny black amulet engraved with the spider and blazing sun emblem of Dark Lord Schlanzor. It feels unusually cold to the touch, as if this item has been kept packed in ice. Cool, special item. I'll take it. See, I got a black amulet out of it, so that's probably going to come in handy. Oh, or is this going to be one of those ones where they trick you? Where you keep the amulet and later it just causes you to die and lose the whole book because you kept the amulet. Do you remember that shit? Do you guys remember that shit when the book did that shit to me? But no, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. Whoa, black amulet, wham-a-lam. Whoa, black amulet, wham-a-lam. Alright. There are no other items secreted in the hollow, and so you leave the alcove and approach the open iron door. I remember twice where it screws you if you take the thing, but only once where it literally makes you just auto-fail the book with no chance if you happen to have the thing on you. Which almost blew up and killed you. Didn't I not take that thing? Turn to 290. Yeah, the black cube. But I didn't take it, did I? Because I'm pretty sure I remember not getting blown up by it. Oh, I threw it away before it killed me. Right, okay. What did I just do? Oh, I just turned to 290. You leave the chamber and enter the hall beyond, pausing only to close the iron door behind you. There are no other bandits lurking in this hall, and when you scour its walls and furnishings, you realize that it is a mess chamber used by Zale's bandit mercenaries and guards. Stale fragments of food litter the tables, and the acrid smell of wine and torch oil hangs in the clammy air. There is a trapdoor located near a tunnel exit from this hall, and on closer examination you discover that it covers a chute. Judging from the foul stench arising from this opening, you determine that the chute must descend directly to a cesspool located somewhere deep below the fortress blockhouse. Man, I do not want to go down that chute. Please, please... don't make me go down that chute. Alright, so I healed myself once, twice, 3 times. Let's search the hall. Probably a bad idea, but let's search the hall. Wow, I keep finding, like, big lists of things. Healed myself 4 times. A swift search of this mess hall uncovers the following items that may be of some use during your mission. I got some food. Enough food for 2 meals, 3 arrows, 2 swords, an axe, a dagger, a candlestick, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, no, a pewter goblet, a dining fork, a bottle of wine, and a torch. I don't want any of that crap. Yeah, I remember not getting blown up lots of times. For instance, yesterday. I didn't get blown up a single time yesterday, and I remember it very clearly. What did you type that turned into the emoticon? Oh, a B with a with a parenthesis by it. Nice. It turned that into an emote. That's fucked up. Alright. Can I take more meals? Stuff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, unless I drop something, I can't take more meals. I don't want to drop anything. That hammer I should probably drop. I'm never going to use that fucking hammer for anything. Am I? I mean, realistically, am I ever going to use that hammer? No, I like the idea of carrying a hammer around, but I'm not going to use it. I will definitely use another meal, so... Alright. Cool fucking Dracarum helmets. And cool, like, fucking jagged Dracarum swords as well. Time to drop the hammer! You know, it's funny. When I used to play Star Wars, The Old Republic, I played a smuggler, or a scoundrel, or whatever the fuck the class is called. I think it's called smuggler. Whatever. And one of the abilities it gets later on is this ability to, like, call in some kind of orbital strike or something from... I don't know, it didn't make any sense. Like, actually using... You could use underground and stuff, it was really silly, but, you know, it was, like, on a long cooldown, it did a bunch of damage to an area, and so you don't use it that often because it's on a long cooldown. So whenever I would use it, like, every fucking time, I would be like, it's time to drop the hammer! And, you know, it takes some time. It takes some time to, like, warm up as it starts, like, painting the symbol on the ground or whatever the fuck it's doing, and, like, the laser beams that are targeting are, like, locking in or whatever. So it takes some time to cast before the explosion happens. And so I would do that for, like, the whole time until it actually happened. That was back when I lived with my old roommate in Denver. So, like, I was doing it and a person could hear it every time. It wasn't just like it wasn't just like to myself. And it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Time to drop the hammer! Every time. Every fucking time. Never got old. So this reminds me of that. So it was time to drop the hammer. Alright, so... let's leave the hall, then. You enter the tunnel and follow it to an open portal, where an iron platform juts from the wall of the blockhouse complex. 50 feet below the platform is a broad thoroughfare that is busy with the traffic of bandit columns and Hammerland wagons, newly arrived from Cragmetal. Oh, what are the wagons doing? What are they doing? Are they trundling? Are they trundling? Come on, tell us, Joe. A narrow bridge spans the gap between the platform and another which juts from the side of the central citadel. There you can see a dark, semicircular portal in the citadel wall that is open and unguarded. The narrow bridge arcs towards the citadel platform, but its smooth span is broken in the middle by a hinged drawbridge. It is open, and it hangs down, creating a gap at the apex that is 15 feet wide. You observe that this banded iron flap is operated by two heavy chains that run beneath the span. You magnify your vision and trace their route back to the base of a plinth, which stands on the blockhouse platform, close by the entrance to the bridge. A winch handle protrudes from this plinth, but when you attempt to crank the chains taut, you find that it will not budge. It is locked in position. A closer inspection of the winch spindle reveals a keyhole at its center. Well, I don't know which key to use. Can I try them both? It seems like iron key is probably more legit than copper key here, right? Yeah, copper key doesn't seem like it would fit something like this. It seems like it would fit like a door or a chest. Iron key seems more like what you'd use for something like this. So let's iron key this up. Motherfucker. God damn it, Joe. That's 5 points of healing. You retrieve the iron key from your backpack and insert it into the keyhole. It fits, but when you twist it, the brittle shank snaps off in the lock. Like, why would I turn it that hard? All I need to do is stick it in there and just check a little bit, like just twist a little bit to see that it doesn't fucking work, and then I could pull it out. I'm not jamming it in there and like cranking it to the right as hard as I can. I mean, I just want to, you know, you could just check to see if it fucking works without turning it so hard that you would bend or break the key. Come on. The brittle shank snaps off in the lock. Your misfortune is compounded when suddenly you hear gruff noises echoing from the tunnel behind. Anxiously, you look over your shoulder and glimpse 4 Dracarum in the distant mess hall. They are heavily armed, and they are striding purposefully towards the tunnel. Galvanized into action by the shock of their appearance, you abandon the lock and resolve instead to attempt a leap across the open drawbridge. Pick a random number. Iron key, gone. Goodbye, Iron key. Random number, Grand Hunt Mastery add 2, and current endurance 25 or lower, deduct 2. Good, it's not. I've healed up, so... If you have bardsmanship and astrology, you don't have the strength to break it in the lock and may try another key. Nice, Nox. Alright, let's pick a random number and try not to fuck up. A 9! Yes! I got a good roll for once! Opposite of Price is Right losing horn. I don't have a sound which is the opposite of that. I should figure out one, but I don't know what kind of sound I would use. You sprint across the narrow bridge and leap over the wide gap with ease. As your feet touch down on the opposite side, you continue your run and quickly you reach the safety of the Citadel platform. Here you pause for a few moments to catch your breath and check that the coast is clear before entering the central stronghold of Gad Helona. Healed 6 points. We made it. Healed 7 points. You follow a short, semicircular tunnel that leads to a wide gallery encircling the upper section of a colossal hall. Peering over the parapet of the gallery, you look down on the red granite floor of the hall 50 feet below. Here you see Dracarum and Giax standing in idle groups around the lip of a deep, lava-filled... Man, Giax, man. I haven't seen Giax in a minute. That's like some old-school lone wolf shit. Giax. Alright, peering over the parapet of the gallery, you look down on the red granite floor of the hall 50 feet below. Here you see Dracarum and Giax standing in idle groups around the lip of a deep, lava-filled pit that looks as if it could descend all the way to the molten core of Magnamund. Motes of rust-colored dust cling to every surface, and the scorching air reeks of molten metal and sulfur. An unbroken line of fiery bronze statues encircle the gallery, depicting former loyal servants of Dark Lord Schlanzor. You are casting your eye along their line when suddenly you see 2 of Zaol's henchmen. They emerge from a passageway located next to a spiral staircase on the far side of the gallery. Quickly you take cover behind the nearest statue, and watch as those 2 men, accompanied by a wolfhound, come walking around the gallery towards your hiding place. Oh, Dargor's buds, already coming in handy. Oh yeah, Herb Mastery, getting it done. Yes, Dargor's buds, yo. I get to use them. I'm so happy. Turn to 230. As the bandits and the wolfhound approach... That's 8. You use your Magnikai Discipline of Invisibility to mask your body scent. The wolfhound is 10 yards from your hiding place when suddenly it begins slavering at the mouth, and then it breaks into a lolloping run. Lolloping? That's not a word! He just made a word up right there. Hold on. Wait. It is a word. What? Lollop.
Lollop. Lollop. Lollop. Lollop. Lollop. Lollop.
Lollop. Move in an ungainly way in a series of clumsy paces or bounds. How have I not seen that word before? That is the best word. I'm just fucking lolloping around. Lolloping. I've never seen that word before in my life.
Lollop.
It breaks into a lolloping run. Your sixth sense warns you that this creature has detected the bitter aroma of the Dargor's buds secreted in your back. Wait a minute! I didn't get to use the buds. I'm getting fucked over because I have the buds. God damn it, Joe, you tricked me. You tricked me. I hate you so much, Joe Deaver. I hate you so much. You tricked me. The buds are... So not only did Word Mastery not do something useful, again, it fucking hurt me. Oh, man. You lolloping motherfucker. I do not possess Animal Mastery. I'm about to take Pipe. That's 9 points. Quickly, you unshoulder your pack and tip the Dargor's buds onto the floor. Then you slip away and take cover behind the next statue in the line. The slavering wolfhound comes loping, or lolloping, around the statue and begins to snuffle among the buds. It is now that you notice there are two other... What? There are two other items lying on the floor. They fell from your pack when you jettisoned the buds. Erase from your action chart the items you have recorded in the second and third spaces of your list of backpack items. No! So unfair. So fucking unfair. Alright, fine. You got me, Joe. Good one. That's my loot and my blanket! Oh no, that's my loot and my blanket! Okay. I'm in pain. I'm in pain right now. My soul is in pain. I lost my blanket. I always lose my blanket. I try to have a blanket. That's it. That's all. I just want a blanket. And I fucking lose that shit every time. And my loot. I can't music anymore. I lost my loot. I lost my loot and my blanket. Oh man. That is so uncool. So fucking uncool, Joe Deaver. So uncool. That sucks. I just got so fucked right now. Suddenly the wolfhound emits a loud yelp of pain. I can't even read anymore. I'm so upset I can't even read. Suddenly the wolfhound emits a loud yelp of pain, and you see its nose redden and swell. The buds contain a powerful irritant that has inflamed the lining of the creature's nostrils. The hound howls with pain, and the bandits howl with laughter when they see its bright red nose. As the injured wolfhound lopes away, the bandits stop to investigate the cause of its misfortune. Should I try to slip past them? Or stay hidden? I'm gonna stay hidden. Maybe I can get my stuff back. I doubt it, though. You overhear the bandits. I'm gonna heal myself one more time. That's the end of my healing. It's the end of my healing. My 10 points per book thing. You overhear the bandits talking and realize that your lost backpack items have aroused their suspicions that there is an intruder in the Citadel. They avoid touching the Dargor's buds, but they take the other two items and then walk towards the tunnel by which you entered the Citadel. So they just found a random loot and a blanket laying around and they fucking took them. Motherfucker took my blanket. All these bastards are gonna die now. And then walk towards the tunnel by which you entered the Citadel. As soon as they have disappeared from view, you leave the statue and hurry around the gallery to the staircase opposite. Oh no, they took my shit, man. They took my shit, Nox. They took my shit. I can't believe it. A short flight of iron steps ascends to a long, low-ceilinged hall. Its plastered walls are decorated with frescoes that depict enslaved humans, bedecked with chains and heads bowed in defeat, parading in a line before a triumphant group of Jakaram warlords. At the far end of this hall, you discover 3 identical doors recessed into the painted wall. I do not possess telenosis. Your Kai sixth sense tells you that Lone Wolf is somewhere nearby. Encouraged by this feeling of certainty, you close your eyes and take hold of the platinum amulet that Lord Ramoa gave you before you left the monastery. Its powers help to focus your concentration as you try to determine which of the 3 doors will lead you to your imprisoned leader. You sense the faint warmth of Lone Wolf's aura, but it is too weak for you to be sure of the direction you should follow. Great. Randomly have to pick one of these. It's got to be left, I guess. We've already learned that left is the way when it comes to Joe Deaver shit. You know, I know a Spoony Bard that would like this stuff. Yeah, that's what they said, pretty much. Left door. This heavy oaken door is bound with copper strips and inset with a large copper lock plate. You twist its oval handle and discover that it is locked. I do have a copper key. Hey, it didn't screw me this time. Imagine that. You insert the copper key into the lock plate and twist it anti-clockwise. The mortise is stiff, but the key fits and the lock opens with a loud click. Carefully, you push open the door and enter a broad hall constructed entirely from black marble slabs. A strange amber light illuminates the upper walls and domed ceiling, cast by a dozen gold crescents fixed into the walls. 2 large pedestals stand near the center of the hall, each one topped by a horned skull. As you approach these pedestals, you hear the door slam shut behind you. Instinctively, you spin around and you see that there is no lock plate on the inside of the door. Its black surface is entirely smooth, blending seamlessly with the somber marble walls. Great, so now I'm trapped in here. You feel the air seething with currents of magical force, and you shiver with a dread premonition that you are in great danger. Then, a crackling sound draws your attention back to the twin pedestals. These columns are now engulfed by coils of electrical energy that weave intricate patterns around the stone surfaces. Slowly, the pedestals seem to lose their solidity. They melt and change. Then, with a blinding surge of power, the crackling coils of energy disappear completely, and you find yourself staring into the eyes of 2 nightmarish creatures. Uh-oh. Slowly, these squat, horny-skinned horrors creep towards you on their clawed feet. Baleful eyes roll like misty spheres in their sockets as they inch closer. Both are armed with heavy iron battle axes, which they hold aloft with frightening ease, revealing the immense strength in their musculo-scaly forearms. Cold sweat drips from your brow as you unsheath your Kai weapon and prepare to do battle with these implacable horrors. Oh, great. So we've got 2 really scary things. Super buff lizard men with big-ass axes and swirly business above them. Also known as Helona Zaghash. That's a lot of combat skill. Oh, you missed me getting fucked, Saito. Fucked. Fucked. So, let me tell you how Joe Deaver did me this time. It's not surprising. So I get a thing that pops up that's like, hey, do you have, whatever they were called, those Dargor spuds? You know that I was all excited, the Herb Mastery, I collected some Do you have Dargor spuds? And I'm like, yes, I get to use my Dargor spuds. And then it's like, oh, you have those, huh? Well, the fucking hound smells them and comes right for your hiding place. And as you get rid of them, you also lose 2 other items from your backpack in your 2nd and 3rd places. And I lost my loot and my blanket! I lost my loot and my blanket! Because I had those stupid fucking things because I had Herb Mastery. Because I had Herb Mastery, I lost my loot and my fucking blanket. It was not cool, Saito. It was not fucking cool at all. So, yeah. Now I gotta fight these fucking things. I don't have daylight. It is magical. It's not magical. It's fucking horrible. I had to play the Darth Vader no multiple times. It was like that. It was like that. It was so bad. Alright, so Oh, you can watch it on the YouTube video. Can't even use my blanket. Watch, watch. Now, coming up soon, it's going to be like, if you have a blanket, blah, blah, blah. For like books and books and books, I've carried blankets around on 2 different characters, and I never got to use a blanket. Now it's going to let me use a fucking blanket to do some awesome shit. It's going to be like, if you have Kai Alchemy or a blanket, turn to whatever. Otherwise, you lose. Alright. I'm about to get fucked up. I'm about to get my shit pushed in by these things. 52 combat skill. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use full blast Kai Surge on these assholes. That's going to reduce their combat skill by 8. It's going to give them a 44, which will give me a decent advantage over them. Oh my god, and they have 58 endurance too? These guys are motherfuckers. I'm about to get hurt. Oh, I forgot. I don't actually do that. I just click the box. I just check the box. Alright, this is going to hurt me. It's really going to hurt me. I'm going to lose a lot of endurance here, and I've already used up all my healing. I already used up all my fucking healing. They don't need necks. Or wastes. Here we go, round 1. Let's see how much pipe I take. 36.58. Alright, I lost 1. Actually, that was my Kai Surge one, so really I lost 0 from the fight. And they lost 14, that's good. Let's have that every time. 35.44. Okay, we did have that again. 34.28. 32 and 17. 30 and 6. Come on, finish him off. Finish him off. Oh, I took some pain there. 25. But they're dead. Oh, I'm down to 25. Actually, so I lost 11 in that fight. I lost 11 endurance in that fight, and I have no more healing. No more potions, no more curing points. So that's good. Yeah, I don't know. That illustration is pretty weird, Saito. Don't know what you were doing there, Brian Williams. As the Zaghash tumble to the ground, felled by your deadly blows, you stagger away from their bodies and wipe the foul blood that has spattered your face and tunic. The light in the chamber is brighter now, and you are able to see the outline of a second doorway in the far wall. Silently it slides open as you approach, and beyond you can see a dark tunnel. Inside the entrance to this gloomy passage, you discover a niche in the wall. It contains a small crystal decanter of green fluid, festooned with cobwebs. Cautiously you pull its stopper to sniff the contents, and you are pleasantly surprised to discover that it contains a tincture of Lomspur. Yay! It is old and stale, but it still possesses some of its healing powers. This decanter contains the equivalent of 2 doses of Lomspur. Each dose will restore 4 endurance points when swallowed after combat. If you wish to keep the decanter, it will occupy only 1 space in your backpack. I'm not going to keep the decanter. I'm going to chug this shit right now. Going back up to 33. Chugging it. Warily you explore this narrow tunnel, and as you advance deeper into the darkness, you detect the sickly aroma of mold and decay. Bones crunch beneath your boots, and the walls become thickly coated with a pallid gray moss. At length you are brought to a halt when the passage arrives at a dead end. You examine the mossy wall ahead, and your tracking skills help you to uncover a loose brick that conceals a length of rotting cord. You tug this cord, and it triggers a hidden counterweight that causes the whole wall to revolve on a central hinge. Squeezing through the narrow gap, you enter a dark chamber that lies beyond. A few moments later, you hear the cogs of the counterweight resetting. Then, the secret panel revolves about its hinge and locks behind you. Everything locks behind me in this place. If you drank from the decanter, turn to page 111, otherwise turn to page 350. I would not be surprised. That's the illustration of the last guy who drank some random shit he found in the dungeon. Nice. Oh god, here we go with another fucking puzzle. Using your infravision, you scan your surroundings and discover that you have entered a hall that is flanked on either side by a row of human skeletons. They stand at attention with their spines pressed against a stone wall, and clasped in their bony hands are rusty polearms of differing type and origin. At the far end of this hall, you can see a pair of stout wooden doors, reinforced with strips of polished steel. Cautiously, you advance under the sightless gaze of the flanking skeletons, and upon reaching the doors, you discover that they are secured by a combination lock. A single dial with a brass pointer is mounted upon a circular plate that is numbered 0 to 200 around its beveled edge. I play my cron flute. You place the palm of your hand against the door, and a tingle of excitement runs down your spine when you sense that Lone Wolf is being held captive on the other side of these doors. Yeah, I don't know how they're keeping Lone Wolf in prison either, Saito. With the help of your Kai's sixth sense, you determine that the number which will open the combination lock is the same as the solution to the following puzzle. Another one of these contrived-ass sixth sense puzzles. If A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, and so on through the alphabet until you reach Z equals 26, what is the total... Oh, that's not a puzzle, that's just simple fucking arithmetic. What is the total numerical value of the Fortress of Gad Helona? That's literally just adding some numbers. That's not a puzzle. It's a pain in the ass adding the numbers, though, because I have to fucking count through and figure out what each one is. G is 7. Plus 1 is 8. Plus 26 is 34. Plus A is 35. Plus 4 is 39. Okay, we have 39 for the first word. Just in case somehow I stupidly forget that. 39 is the first word. 8 plus 5 plus 12 is 25. Wait, did I just do the L or the K? Okay, plus 11 is 36. Plus 16. Oh fuck, I lost count. Hold on, the first three added up to 25. Plus 11 was 36. And O is 16, I think. Maybe it's 15. It's 15. 36 plus 15 is 51. That's got to be 14. That's 65. 66. 66 plus 39 is 90, 105. Please tell me the real answer is 105 so I don't have to fucking add that shit up again. I might have fucked something up, but I think it's 105. Got it! When the dial clicks into position, the heavy wooden doors swing open, and a gust of putrid air makes you swallow hard before you take your first cautious step into the hall beyond. You cast a suspicious eye around this circular chamber, for it is illuminated by tall candles that radiate a cold cyanic light. Oh, do you know what else you missed, Saito, while you were gone? We learned the word lolloping. Lolloping. It's a real word. I looked it up. It's a great word. The floor is strewn with bones and human cadavers in varying states of decomposition, and the walls are hung with great silken tapestries depicting horrific scenes that glorify the power of death and decay. Who are all the evil artisans or evil artists that make all this evil artwork that we find in all these places? Like, everywhere we go to these places, there's always all kinds of bas-reliefs and frescoes and mosaics and statues and tapestries depicting like horrifically evil shit, right? Like, who are the skilled artists who are just happen to be really evil? Are you an evil artist? Like, who are the evil artists that are making all this stuff? Evil Bob Ross? Yeah. Michael Evilo. Alright, depicting horrific scenes. Yeah, got it. That glorify the power of death and decay. As your eagle eyes penetrate the gloom, your pulse races when they fall upon Lone Wolf. He sits cross-legged within a sphere of translucent gray light that hovers 3 feet above the floor. His divine blade, Summersword, is cradled in his lap, and his head hangs limply against his chest. At first, you believe he is unconscious. Then your Magna Chi discipline of Psi Screen detects that he is engaged in a desperate mental battle against a host of invisible enemies who are seeking to enslave his soul. So here we have Lone Wolf. Oh, we've reached the cover art. We've reached the cover art. We've reached the cover art. Lone Wolf is chilling, meditating, engaged in psychic battle inside this glowing sphere thing. And you've got fucking Ben Kingsley over here. He doesn't really... He looks more like Yul Brynner here. Fucking evil Yul Brynner on this evil throne of evil. In this evil room of evil. Yeah, you're right, Nox. That is who was. Those fucking bitter people that got fucked over by their abilities way too many times. Alright, Lone Wolf, we've reached the cover art. Man, it doesn't look like he's having a good time there. Look at him. It looks like he's trying to pass a ridiculous shit or something. And this guy, though, he's having a great time. He's really fucking happy. Look at him. They also call those artists Dieverites. Alright. The shadowy prison sphere that entraps Lone Wolf hovers before a vile throne constructed entirely of human skulls and bones. Seated here is a thin man attired in black robes edged with gold and scarlet braid. His pale skin and feverish dark eyes are touched by the bluish glow of the surrounding candles, accentuating his sinister mien. With an extended right hand, he grasps the surface of a large crystal sphere that is fixed to a pedestal beside his throne. This crystal is hollow, but its core is filled with swirling black vapors that radiate a deathly chill. The robed man stares fixedly at the sphere and appears to be mesmerized by it. You magnify your vision, and when you focus your gaze upon the sphere, suddenly you fathom the secret of the terrible power contained within. Yeah, I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen now, Saito. You're right. What is the secret of the terrible power? Listen, I use fucking magic to light one of my arrows on fire with fucking magic fire, and I shoot that fucking thing. Right now. No more bullshit. I shoot the fucking sphere. I play my cron... I play my cron pipe. I play my cron pipe. Here we go. Look at that guy. He is just happy in the most sinister way. He shouldn't be that happy. The crystal sphere is not an artifact of this world. It was forged in Dazganon, the dread fortress of the dark god Nar, upon the ethereal plane of darkness. The supernatural forces that exist within this sphere enabled Nar to exert total control over his agent Zael. Your Kai senses inform you that the destruction of this sphere would deal a severe blow to the dark god. It would rob him of a means by which his influence can prevail on Magnamund. Yeah, destroying the sphere is what I'm all about. Kind of looks like that sphere has an evil potato in it. If your only musical instrument is a cron pipe, turn to page 13. Otherwise, turn to page 350. Would not surprise me one fucking bit. Can't believe they took my loot, but even worse, my blanket. It's so hard to get a blanket in this game. There's very rare opportunities to get a blanket. And so many chances to lose it. And a towel, I've only ever gotten one towel, ever. in book fucking 5. Suddenly Zael cries out in alarm, as if the evil necromancer has awoken from the grip of a nightmare. He snatches his hand away from the crystal sphere and points it at you accusingly. His dark eyes glare with madness when he spits out his chilling threat.
Foolish Kai, you are doomed. You and your weak master will never leave my hall alive.
In the next instant, the doors to the necromancer's hall crash shut, and you are assailed by a terrible sound that fills your head with pain. If you were a wise motherfucker who correctly chose Kai screen at the beginning of this book like a motherfucking boss, turn to 164. Yes, that does apply to me. Yes, it does. You draw upon your advanced mental disciplines to shut out the noise of this powerful psychic assault. Your swift and skillful response to this attack saves you from sustaining a paralyzing injury. Lose 1 endurance point. Ha! To continue, turn to 70. It reminds you of Jack Nicholson's Joker, sans hair. I actually thought of the Joker too, sans hair. Alright, hold on. We're rotating water bottles here. Yep. Alright. We're on bottle 3, in case you're curious. It's bottle 3. But now I'm on the 2 full liter bottles. The 1 liter bottles. The other 2 are smaller. The first 2. So, in other words, I still have a shitload of water left. Alright. Here we go. The screeching wall of noise ceases abruptly, and you open your eyes to see Zael the necromancer staring at you aghast. Oh, weren't expecting that, were you, son? Look, he's not having so much fun now. Frantically, he snatches up a black iron staff that rests beside his throne of bones, and then he leaps from his seat with surprising agility. You reach for your Kai weapon as he comes bounding towards you, his staff poised to thrust at your head. He lunges, not with a rod of iron, but with a living serpent. The necromancer's staff is transformed into a deadly, hissing black snake. Hastily you retreat as the serpent's dripping fangs strike out for your throat. Yeah, and then I use my Eye of Laws to control the snake and make it bite him. Yeah, I have that. But it's probably not going to be usable here because it's not a real snake, or Ojiva just didn't think of it. So, there he is. He looks really angry now. His staff turning into a snake. He's pulling a little fucking Moses shit. It's like all Old Testament style and shit. Okay, here we go. That is one of the silliest illustrations you've ever seen. Is it? It's not that silly. I mean, it's silly-ish, but... I think it's not nearly as silly as this one was. This is a sillier illustration right here. That is some straight up silly. I forgot. Now I have to go back through everything. Tell me it was 105. It was. Alright. Zael the Necromancer with Serpent Rod. Combat skill 50. Oh. He's easier than the last fight I just did. Endurance 40. Spawn Smite or Valiance, you can add the bonus. I don't have those, and I don't have Sunlight, so... Alright, I didn't expect me to just suddenly... We're only 2 hours and 20 minutes into this book. I didn't expect to just suddenly get to fight Zael this early in the book. Alright, so here we go. Let's do this battle. He is not immune to all my cool shit, so You know what? I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I'm using full blast Kai Surge on this guy. That'll give me a big advantage over him. Here we go. Battle. 3240, 2930, 2620. Yes! Got him in 3 rounds. And I'm only down to 20. Man, he barely even touched me, honestly. I only lost 8 endurance there for him being like the big, like, final boss guy or whatever. Down to 25, but I can live with that. Alright, I kind of smoked him, honestly. How does he keep his nails looking that good in this dungeon? Well, I mean, just because he's in a dungeon doesn't mean he doesn't have a fucking nail file. I don't think that's really... He can probably just use magic to do his nails. Like sorceresses in The Witcher. Your killing blow brings Zael staggering to his knees, gasping hoarsely. Did we really kill him? I'm surprised he's not pulling some kind of cat act shit and like, I'll be back to get you later, ha 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 ha, and then he like runs off or something. He drops his serpent staff and the instant it leaves his grasp, it shrivels up into a tight ball that hisses, smokes, and bubbles. Zael falls to one side, his gaunt, shaven head striking the bone-littered floor with a dull thud. Through blood-flecked lips, he utters a curse. Here we go. He is gonna be back. He is gonna be back. He's gonna pull a cat act. Vowing one day to return from beyond the grave to wreak bloody vengeance upon you and the Kai. Then his dark eyes flicker and glaze over, and his thin frame convulses for a moment and falls still. Keeps a staff of beauticians on staff. Nice. I like to keep a staff on staff myself. It's important. It's important that you're well staffed with a staff of staff. What did you miss, Boss Fight? Oh, you missed a ton of stuff, man. You missed a ton of stuff. You missed great sadness and great triumph. Mostly great sadness, though. Not a whole lot of great triumph. You leap over the withered remains of the necromancer and his cursed staff and rush towards Lone Wolf. Slowly, your master raises his tousled head and fixes you with his steely blue eyes. You sense that he has been greatly weakened by his ordeal. He has suffered much since his abduction, yet he has found the strength within himself to resist his cruel tormentors. Inspired by his resolute courage, you ask how you can free him from the prison sphere. Lone Wolf mouths a reply, but you cannot hear him. Using your Magna Chi discipline of divination, you try to detect telepathic communication, but you sense that it is futile. No mind speech can penetrate the milky gray walls of Lone Wolf's hovering prison. You're gonna watch this bake, then buy? Alright, Boss Pie. I don't know what that means, but cool. Cool, man. Cool. Then your leader glowers at the crystal sphere that is fixed atop a pedestal beside the throne of bones, and instantly you fathom his meaning. Slowly you mouth the words, "Must I destroy the sphere? I don't know what I'm doing right now. Why don't I just stop? I can't seem to stop. It just keeps on coming out of my mouth." What the fuck is wrong with me? Wow. Okay. I'm obviously a little bit weird today. Must I destroy the sphere? Lone Wolf nods approvingly. Fired up by his directive, you raise your Kai weapon and approach the crystal sphere. But before you come to within striking distance, a powerful gust of freezing air hits you in the chest and sends you reeling backwards to the floor. Elementalism. Also, I'm not surprised that it's going to be like... It's like, do you have a hammer? Because that's what you need to destroy the sphere. If you have a hammer... But I... No. Because I lost my hammer. Lone Wolf nods approvingly to the crazy bard singing. Yeah. Alright, random number time. Here we go. Oh, a 0. Wonderful. Second time in this book. Rolling a 0. Great. Fantastic. Good. You crash down heavily among the detritus and cadavers that litter the floor of the necromancer's hall. And a sharp pain shoots through your left forearm. I never know how to pronounce that word. I always like to pronounce it detritus, but I hear other people pronounce it detritus, and I don't really like that pronunciation, so I just don't pronounce it that way, but I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Are you really not going to give me a little thing to click on right here?
Detritus.
I don't like that pronunciation. I think it should be detritus, personally. I think it sounds better if you say detritus, but dictionary.com disagrees with me.
Detritus. Detritus.
Man, fuck you, dictionary.com. Why you gotta be that way?
Afflatus.
There's also afflatus, just so you know. That's a word. Alright. Fine. You crash down heavily among the detritus, are you happy? And cadavers that litter the floor of the necromancer's hall. And a sharp pain shoots through your left forearm. You have fallen upon the skeletal remains of a human body, and its splintered shin bone has skewered your arm. Lose 3 endurance points. That's rude. My endurance is kind of getting low now. Gritting your teeth in anticipation of the increased pain, you take hold of the bone fragment and wrench it from your arm with one swift tug. Oh man, that would suck. That would hurt. 325, so close to 350, but not quite. As you are struggling painfully to your feet, you suddenly become aware of the arrival of a new and powerful evil in this hall. Instinctively, you look to the crystal sphere, and your heart sinks when you see that its swirling black vapors are now oozing through the glassy surface. These sinister wisps of darkness draw together and swirl around the throne of bones like a small tornado. Oh, now here's the real boss. That wasn't even his final form. The real boss comes. Then from the core of this whirlwind, there issues a loud and hideous shriek that makes your blood run cold. Oh no. Man, that pedestal that the sphere is on is pretty fucking sinister looking. What is this thing coming up out of there? It's like shadow sliggins. If you have ever visited the city of Duodon in a previous Lone Wolf New Order adventure, yes, I just visited Duodon in the last book. There we go. Everybody's happy when Duodon gets brought up. Mighty Duodon, yay! Instantly, you recognize the chilling shriek of Zorkon the Soul Taker, and you recall in vivid detail the combat that took place between you and this foul entity just a week ago in the Citadel of Skull Tor. Wary of his psychic powers, you muster your mental defenses in readiness to counter any attack that he may launch upon your mind, and once again, cha-ching! Boom! I'm so happy I picked that Kai screen. Man, I feel smart right now for picking Kai screen. Because that's going to save me from some bullshit. Remember last time when I didn't have Kai screen and this guy attacked me with his mind thing and made me lose a discipline and he did it to me twice? Not this time, motherfucker. Not this time. I learned. I learned. You complete the erection of a strong defensive wall around the core of your mind. This guy can't do nothing against my erection. Barely moments before Zorkon unleashes a massive psychic assault, which bounces off my erection. As the searing waves of his incorporeal powers shatter against your mental defenses, you sense Zorkon explode with anger and frustration at having been thwarted by your formidable Kai protections and my erection. Alright, yeah, motherfucker, take that. Yeah, he can't do nothing to my fucking Kai screen. The whirling shadow of Zorkon is shrinking and condensing. It coalesces to form a funnel of choking black fog that hovers menacingly above the corpse of the necromancer. The narrowest part of this swirling cone of darkness pierces the dead sorcerer's chest, and in the blink of an eye, Zorkon takes control of Zeol's lifeless cadaver. Now we find out whether having the black amulet is going to help us or fuck us over. What's it going to be? I think given what we've learned of how Joe Deaver likes to do things, it's more likely that it's going to fuck us over here, but we're about to find out. Watch it be instant loss just for having the... This version of Zorkon is like the last version of Kadak. Yeah. For real. Here we go. Come on. Be something good. Be something good! Motherfucker. Wisps of smoke are rising from the pocket of your tunic. The black amulet has begun to burn through the lining of your jacket, and its raw heat blisters the skin on your hip. Lose 1 endurance point. I hate you so much, Joe Deaver. You're such an asshole. Your Kai senses scream a warning that this artifact is cursed and could explode at any moment. He's like, hey, it's been a while since I pulled this trick. It's been all the way since, like, book 4. Lols. I'll get this new order sucker with the same trick as the black cube. It's the black cube all over again. Watch, that's an instant death right there. Come on, don't roll low. Don't roll low. Don't roll low. Damn it! Why? Why? Again! Again! Why would that happen to me twice in one book? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fucking die. I didn't die yet. Hurriedly, you reach into the pocket of your tunic and grasp the glowing amulet. Pain shoots all the way from your fingers to your shoulder as the red-hot surface of this cursed artifact burns deeply into your flesh. Lose 2 more endurance points. Despite the agony you suffer, you wrench the black amulet from your pocket and hurl it away. The evil object arcs through the air and hits the floor, exploding on impact with tremendous noise and heat. What happens if you pick 4 to 6? Oh god, you lose 15. 7 to 9, you lose 2. So 4 to 6 would have wrecked me. So it explodes with tremendous noise and heat. Oh good. Now we get an even harder fight now that I'm down to 19 endurance. The noise of the explosion is reverberating around the hall as the possessed body of Zeol rises up from the floor and extends its twisted arms towards you. An unholy fire blazes in the eyes of the dead necromancer as his corpse moves across the hall towards you with unnatural speed. You pray to the goddess Ashir for her protection as this ghastly zombie leaps upon you and attempts to fix its corpse-cold hands around your throat. So when he said he'd be back to fight us again after death, he meant in just a couple minutes. See, I thought it'd be in another book or something, but no. Zeol zombie possessed by Zorkon, 55 combat skill, 43 endurance. And he's immune to psychic attack. Fuck, 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 fuck. Alright. He's immune to psychic attack. That's real good. If your Kai weapon is a Lemma or Valiance, you may add the appropriate bonus. Yeah, I don't have those. You may reduce the total damage inflicted upon you by 5 endurance points due to the protection you gain from wearing the Platinum Amulet. However, unless you possess the Discipline of Kai Screen, once again, Kai Screen is Bala, you must reduce your combat skill by 3 for the duration of this combat. Knox says, just remember, it doesn't matter how low your combat skill and endurance are, there's always a way to win. Yeah, lying ass lies of Lietown. Conduct this combat in the normal way for 3 rounds only. To survive these initial rounds, you may continue. Okay, so I don't even have to beat him, I just have to survive. That's fine. Round 1, and I get 5 points back, in essence, from the Platinum Amulet. So round 1, round 2, round 3. I'm whittling him down. I might actually win this fight if I was going to continue it. But I get 5 points back, so I get to, I go to 16. I only actually lost 3 points in that. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Your third blow severs Zale's corpse at the waist, and the two halves tumble to the floor. For a few moments, the sundered legs and the upper torso writhe blindly forwards with maniacal intent. But then the shade of Zorkon abandons its crippled host, and the two halves collapse and lie still. The funnel of dark vapor that is Zorkon escapes into the upper reaches of the hall, where it disappears among the vaulted stone rafters. You scour the ceiling with all of your senses, yet you are no longer able to detect your adversary. You look to Lone Wolf, and he holds your gaze. Then he glances towards the crystal sphere, and you sense that he is urging you to destroy it. Thank you for letting me know that there's an NVIDIA GeForce Game Ready driver available. Thanks, game. Thanks, NVIDIA, but I don't want that right now. He's urging me to destroy it. Bow, Magi Magic, Kai Alchemy. Probably the bow and the Magi Magic just straight up don't work, and Kai Alchemy destroys it instantly and takes you to 350. Let's use Magi Magic. Let's light my arrow on fire and shoot it at that thing, just like I said I was going to do several paragraphs ago. Several pages ago, whatever. Or I could use Power Word. You summon the mental shapes of the Old Kingdom's spell Power Word and project this magical word at the crystal sphere. A ball of concussive force hurtles across the hall, but before it strikes its mark, it is deflected away. Of course it is, because you didn't use Kai Alchemy. It is deflected away by a sudden gust of icy cold wind. The diverted word collides with the throne and shatters the back of the seat in an explosion of dust and bone fragments. Undaunted by this reversal, you rush towards the sphere with the intention of kicking it from its pedestal. But as you bring back your leg in readiness to strike, the dark shadow of Zorkon falls upon you and launches a massive psychic attack from close range. Wow. So, once again, Kai Screen. Man, I feel super smart for picking Kai Screen. Because it has come in time and time and time and time again in this book. It's been amazing. Kai Screen is the new Kai Alchemy. Kai Screen has been great. It really has. Thank you, Kai Screen. Opening cutscene of Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. I don't remember the opening cutscene of Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. Wait, was Lord of the Destruction the expansion to Diablo 2, or is that just the subtitle of Diablo 2 itself? No, I think that was the expansion, right? I never actually played the expansion, weirdly enough, even though I played a fuck ton of actual Diablo 2. I played so much Diablo 2. I beta tested Diablo 2, but I didn't play the expansion ever. Anyway, Kai Screen, here we go. What? What? You are engulfed by a sheet of white-hot psychic fire that burns the fabric of your mind. Your Kai Screen crumples under the onslaught, yet it protects you from the potentially fatal effects of psychic shock. Zorkon's sudden and massive psychic attack has damaged a part of your mind that controls your Kai abilities, and you must forfeit the use of one of your Grandmaster disciplines for the rest of this mission. God damn it! Even with Kai Screen. No, what happens if you don't have Kai Screen? You lose 3 endurance, and you lose a discipline. So all it did was save me for 3 endurance. I hate you so much, Joe Deaver. I still lose a damn discipline. Well, we're gonna lose... I don't know what to lose. Hey, no, Kai Screen has still saved my ass from some horrible shit, though. Prior to this. Well, we're gonna lose astrology. Astrology is gone. Goodbye, astrology. Man, Joe Deaver should not have added the new disciplines to this series. He really shouldn't have. They suck. They almost never come up. Half the time they do come up, they actually hurt you. And thematically, they're lame. And don't even fit with the Kai shit at all. I mean, I took them just to be sassy. But they really are stupid and lame. He shouldn't have added them. He shouldn't have added astrology and herb mastery and fucking bardsmanship. He shouldn't have added them. You have to beat Zorkon by finding his weakness through charting his natal horoscope. Nice. I see your Mars is in Pisces. Now I know your weakness. Alright. Actually, I think my Mars is in Pisces. I don't know. That might not be true. Alright, to continue, turn to 22. Zorkan looms above you, his swirling black form swelling in volume and menace as it prepares to deal you a final devastating blow. Valiantly you struggle to resist, but you are fearful that you no longer possess the strength to counter this powerful foe. Now that I don't have astrology, I'm fucked. I can't beat him. An evil laugh echoes in your mind as slowly the wispy mass of black vapor spirals down towards your face. Desperately, you lash out at your mocking adversary, but you lose your balance and collapse to your knees. With a prayer to Ishir on your lips, you watch with growing horror as a glowing spike of radiant energy appears at the core of Zorkon's form. It hangs directly above you, like a sorcerer's lance poised to deliver a killing blow. Man, this shit's like the ecstasy of Saint Teresa. Alright. So... fuck you, Zorkon. So basically this is like, you're just gonna lose. This is where you get your ass kicked in cutscene in a video game and you can't do anything about it. You're engulfed by a sudden explosion of golden light. What? Am I getting Deus Ex Machina saved here? Zorkon emits a deafening shriek as the supernatural fabric of his being is ripped asunder by the Summer Sword, Lone Wolf's divine blade. As the creature is engulfed in a blaze of golden fire, the Summer Sword falls to the floor near your feet. I take it. I take it. I take it. You look down at the blade in stunned disbelief. Then you raise your eyes and look to Lone Wolf, who is slumped within the confines of his hovering prison sphere. Slowly, the enormity of what has happened begins to permeate through the turmoil that is raging in your mind. In a desperate bid to save you, Lone Wolf has used the last of his strength to hurl his magical blade through the wall of his sorceress prison. This courageous act has destroyed Zorkon and spared you your life. Wow. Summer Sword. Kicking some ass, I guess. Well, that's good that Lone Wolf can handle this for me. He looks like a really evil version of the fucking genie from Aladdin here. You've never had an enemy like me. Yeah. Alright, so fucking turn to 153, I guess. Well, thanks, Lone Wolf. Good looking out, I guess. I'll just sit here and fucking play my Kron pipe. As the last fragments of Zorkon's black shadow are consumed by the golden flames, you struggle to your feet and stumble towards Lone Wolf. You fear the worst, that your brave leader has sacrificed his own life for yours, but to your profound relief, you soon discover that he is not dead, but unconscious. Yeah, if Lone Wolf could have just handled this shit himself, why did I even need to come here? If you possess your Kai weapon, turn to 225. Wait, there's a chance you wouldn't possess it? Because that would suck. If you didn't have that +5 combat skill from your Kai weapon, you would be so boned in these fights. Do you get this? Hold on, let's just check it. Oh, no, you get it. I want the Summer Sword. No, but Lone Wolf is unconscious. He's not dead, so he's gonna keep his weapon. You retrieve the Summer Sword from the ground and marvel at its craftsmanship and fine balance. Then you hurry to the prison sphere and thrust the tip of the golden blade into a ragged tear that was made when Lone Wolf hurled the Summer Sword at Zorkon. Crimson sparks erupt from the rent in the sphere as determinedly you work the sword with a sawing motion. The split lengthens until you are able to reach in and grab hold of Lone Wolf's tunic. Carefully, you pull your unconscious leader out of his sorceress cell, and then you sheathe the Summer Sword in his scabbard before you heave his limp body over your shoulder. The Summer Sword is like classic Coke? Yeah. The Sunstrike is like Crystal Pepsi. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. It's like fucking Pepsi Jazz. Did you ever try Pepsi Jazz? That's some nasty shit. I don't even know if they still make it, but it was so bad. I tried Pepsi Jazz once, and I was like, what the fuck? Why did they make this? It's like somebody took a perfectly good Pepsi and then took a big old shit in it. Alright, I heave his limp body over my shoulder. Fearing that Zale's absence may soon come to the attention of his minions, you cast your gaze around the necromancer's hall in search of a way to escape. The doors by which you entered have been sealed shut, but your keen eyes and your Kai senses alert you to two other possible routes out of this chamber. The first is a narrow door located in the wall directly behind the Throne of Bones, and the other is an archway that is covered by a thin velvet tapestry. Door behind the throne, archway with a fucking... No, let's check out the door. Let's check out the narrow door. You know what else is really, really bad? I mean, really bad. I think it's Shasta that makes this, but it's one of the generic soda brands, and they tried to make... They have their normal cola, right? That's like supposed to be like Coke or Pepsi, and it's really not good. Then they tried to make their own version of Coke Zero, and it's called Cola O, like OH exclamation point. It might not have an exclamation point. I might have added that in my mind, but it's Cola OH, Cola O, and I tried that, and I gotta tell you, that's the worst fucking soda I've ever drank in my life. I made jokes about this thing for fucking weeks. I was like, Cola O, as in, oh shit, what did I just drink? Cola O! Oh god, what is this? I mean, Cola O, man. If you ever see that in the store and you think, you know, maybe I should try that and see if it's good or not, do not try it. Do not try it. It's fucking horrible. It's the worst soda I've ever had. Cola O. I mean, it's just like they knew it was bad, and they just gave it a name like, oh! Alright, so anyway. Let's examine the narrow door. You push open the narrow door with your foot and enter an icy corridor that ascends by slope and stair to a bare torchlit kitchen. This tiled chamber is poorly stocked, but you are able to gather up scraps of food sufficient for 2 meals. You know, I haven't had to eat very many meals in this so far. I have not had to eat very many meals in this book. Stacked upon a shelf above an iron door, you discover several earthenware storage jars that are filled with plant leaves and berries. Carefully you rest Lone Wolf down upon the kitchen table before examining the individual contents of these jars. Here we go again. You're gonna try to fuck me with my herb mastery again, aren't you? Man, you burned me once with this shit. Maybe I don't have herb mastery. No, I do have herb mastery. Let's go ahead and see what trap I'm gonna be lured into this time. You are able to identify that most of the berries and herbs stored here are either poisons, narcotics, or sorcerous plants. Of the 20 jars on the shelf, only 2 contain substances that can cure or heal. The first is Obanthor, a healing spice that will restore 5 endurance points per dose when eaten with a meal. And the second is Satchwort, a sanative herb that will restore 3 endurance points when consumed after sustaining wounds in combat. There are sufficient amounts stored in the jars to provide 2 doses of each substance. If you wish to take either or both of these curatives, remember to adjust your acting short accordingly. Alright, I'm going to eat the Satchwort right now, because I just sustained wounds in combat. Both doses of it, giving myself back 6. Then there's the Obhanthor. Which has 2 doses. Alright. Brought something horrible back from South Korea? Oh, I can't imagine. I can imagine. It's gotta be so bad. When you think you've had the worst things, then you have bad things from other countries, and it's way worse. Like, the worst things in other countries are way worse than the worst things here. Gives full healing food when eaten with a meal, never does a meal check again. I know, right? Well, see, some books, by this point, I already would have been told to eat 3 or 4 meals. In this book, or 5, I mean, some books have, like, tons of meal eating that goes on, and other books, there's hardly any meal eating, so it's hard to know how many meals you're gonna need. Alright, so let's move on. So, Herb Mastery actually helped us this time. What crazy sorcery is this? Oh. Suddenly you hear the monotonous clang of an alarm bell echoing in some distant part of the Citadel, and your Kai senses warn you that Zael's corpse has now been discovered. Some of his minions are searching the necromancer's hall, and you are gripped by a fear that they may discover your trail and catch you before you can make good your escape. You take hold of Lone Wolf and lift him across your shoulder. Then you pull open the iron door and leave the kitchen as fast as you are able. Man, carrying a dude around, I'm not going to be moving that quick. He gave you this weird thing and said, hey, drink this, and I did. What I tasted was pure horror. It was a soft drink made from the runoff of kimchi preparation. That sounds terrible. First of all, you're very trusting. If anybody, even my best friend, just handed me a random thing that I didn't know what it was and said, hey, drink this, I wouldn't just drink it. I would do an investigation first. That sounds pretty bad, Saito. Why did you drink that? A short tunnel leads to a circular shaft which is lit intermittently by a pulsating crimson light. You ascend this shaft by means of a broad circular staircase, and you stop to rest when you come to a landing that is halfway from the top. Unless you possess the discipline of Grand Hunt Mastery, you must now eat a meal or you lose 3 endurance. So I'm going to eat a meal, and I'm going to take some Obenthor. So 1 meal goes away. Obenthor heals 5 with meal. Kick me back up to 27. It was in a cannon covered in Korean text. Yeah, No. I've learned this lesson myself when I was a kid. You never just randomly put anything in your mouth that has fucking Korean or Chinese or Japanese or any other Asian characters on it. Because they have some fucking weird shit over there, and you may really seriously regret it. I remember when I was given some candy with Korean text on it as a kid. Oh, it was candy. Yum. This will be good. No, it fucking almost killed me. It was some, like, ludicrously sour lemon thing that was, like, 10 times sourer than anything that's ever been seen in North America. And it fucking, like, hurt my face. Like, it damaged me. I lost hit points from that candy. Permanently! It was bad. It was really fucking bad. And I was like, nope. Not eating any random thing that I don't know what it is from Korea or China or Japan ever again. Oh god, I still remember those things, man. And then for some reason they were really popular in my school, so I started selling them. I started selling those weird fucking Korean lemon candies to people. It was pretty bizarre. You're pretty sure it's the reason why the Korean War started? God. Alright, we ate a meal, let's move on. When you look to the top of the shaft, you can see the huge domed panels of the Citadel's observatory windows. Confident that an escape onto the roof can be effected by this route, you resolve to reach the top of the stairs as quickly as you can. However, you are becoming increasingly concerned for Lone Wolf's physical condition. His pulse is weak, and his breathing is shallow, indicating to you that he is slipping from unconsciousness into coma. Can I use fucking Magna Chi curing on him? Shit, I have deliverance, for fuck's sake. Can't I use deliverance on him? WMD's weapons of mouth destruction? Nice. You're also anxious to revive him so that he may send a telepathic signal to Guildmaster Baindon, summoning him to your rescue. Unless this signal is transmitted soon, you fear that any attempt to reach the roof will ultimately be to no avail, except I'm going to go up there, I'm going to play my cron pipe, and some crons are going to come pick us up and fly us out of here like the eagles in Lord of the Rings, and it's going to be awesome. I do have deliverance, actually. I was just saying, can't I use deliverance? And now apparently I can. Thank you, Joe. Of course, it hurts me, right? You use your Magna Chi curing skills in an urgent attempt to restore Lone Wolf to consciousness. Wait, why am I using Magna Chi curing skills? I just said I have deliverance. In an urgent attempt to restore Lone Wolf to consciousness, you unbutton the front of his battle tunic and place your hands on his chest. Then you transfer the warmth of your healing powers directly into his body. This use of your discipline costs you 3 endurance points. Of course it does. Fucking of course it does. After a few minutes, you feel his heartbeat growing stronger. Yet before you can complete the healing procedure, you hear the daunting sound of steel-shod boots echoing up the shaft from below. You risk a glance over the parapet of the stairs, and you see a dozen armored Dracarum emerging from the tunnel at the base of the shaft. As they come running up the stairs, you see that many of them are armed with loaded crossbows. Reluctantly, you are forced to abandon your attempt to revive Lone Wolf. You heave him across your shoulder and take to the stairs once more, climbing as fast as your aching legs will carry you both towards the observatory roof 60 feet above. Man, carrying a dude up some fucking stairs would not be the best. It would not be the best experience. Alright, here we go. Random number time. Oh good, a 1. Oh good, more random damage. That makes me happy. You have ascended no more than 20 steps when a crossbow bolt ricochets off the stone parapet and grazes your shoulder. Lose 1 endurance point. The sudden shock and the stinging pain of your wound spur you to an even greater effort. You force yourself to climb faster, and your legs pound the stairs like steam pistons as you strive to avoid capture by the murderous Dracarum. Gasping for breath, you reach the top of the stairs and stagger onto a circular steel platform. Through the giant windows that encircle this observatory landing, you look out across the grim gray vista of Gad Helona and marvel at its terrible splendor. The surrounding acres of iron and stone are bathed by glowing waves of crimson light. These pulses emanate from a huge crystal set atop the observatory dome. It is a sorcerous gem, and it was placed here by Dark Lord Schlanzor's Nadzaranum, his dark wizards, as a beacon to guide home his fearsome squadrons of Kron. As you stare up at this evil stone, you draw some comfort from the thought that soon its radiant light may help guide Guildmaster Bainden's flying ship to your rescue. Yeah, I don't think Guildmaster Bainden's flying ship is coming. I don't think that's gonna fucking happen. That's not part of the plan here. I mean, it's part of the plan, but it's not part of the fucking actual thing that occurs. You place Lone Wolf behind the parapet near the top of the stairs, then you risk another look down the shaft. You see that the Dracarum have taken up a position on the landing below, where they are waiting for you to present yourself as a target. The moment your head appears over the parapet, they reward your curiosity with a volley of crossbow bolts. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? If I know there's a bunch of dudes with crossbows down there, why would I stick my head out? Why would I even do that? Alright, I don't have Assimilance or Grand Hunt Mastery. So, I don't get to add anything to this roll. 3 or lower probably fucking kills me. I got a 7. Nice. Nice. Got the best result this time. I know, right? That was a lot of mathematical effort. I had to count some shit on my fingers. I'm not gonna lie to you. For the letters that were like right in the middle of the alphabet, you know? Like L and K. O. The deadly bolts slam into the parapet and whistle past your head, dangerously close. One bolt passes so close that it rips the collar of your tunic before it arcs into the roof and punches a hole through a glass panel. Reflexively, you duck back behind the safety of the parapet. Your close brush with death tells you that these Dracarum warriors are a skilled and determined enemy. You know that you must do everything in your power to prevent them from reaching the roof if you are to have any hope of escaping from Gad Helona alive. Alright, well, what can I do? Can I play my fucking Kron flute now, please? My Kron pipe? Can I hit the Kron pipe? You hear a gruff shout, followed by the sound of heavy boots pounding up the stone stairs. Your stomach churns with the fear that the Dracarum are about to storm the observatory platform, and again you risk your life by glancing over the parapet. Fortunately, this time you escape being used as a crossbow target, and you are able to catch a glimpse of a lone Dracar ascending the stairs at a run. He is a barrel-chested Dracarum assault trooper, clad in full battle armor, with scarlet cape, plumed helm, and spiked shield. As he bounds up the steps 2 at a time, he curses loudly and slashes at the air with his serrated sword. His fearless charge is so recklessly courageous that it inspires his cautious comrades to leave the landing and follow in his wake. Alright, let's fucking Magi Magic this dude. Turn to 117. You listen to the Dracar's approaching footsteps as you prepare the Old Kingdom spell Invisible Fist. Invisible Fist! While remaining hidden from sight. If you can fell this assault trooper with your battle spell, you hope that it may be enough to dissuade his comrades from pressing home their charge. You rise up from behind the parapet and utter the final word of the spell as you thrust your clenched fist at the advancing Dracar. A ball of concussive energy streaks from your hand towards the assault trooper's chest. He sees a disturbance in the air and instinctively he tries to block your magical attack with his shield. Random number time, and I got a 9, sucker! Your Drakar's swift reactions are handicapped by his heavy armor, and your ball of invisible energy strikes him in the chest before he can shield himself. The force of the impact buckles his breastplate and brings him crashing to his knees. Groaning in agony, his ribs crushed by his dented armor, he topples backwards and tumbles down the stairs, felling his comrades like Skittles. Like Skittles? What? Like Skittles? Taste the rainbow, motherfucker! I send that guy tumbling down the stairs and I sing, "Taste the rainbow!" As he Skittles? Is that a thing besides the candy? What does Skittles mean besides Skittles? It is a thing besides the candy. It's a game played chiefly in Britain with wooden pins, typically 9 in number, set up at the end of an alley to be bowled down with a wooden ball or disc. It's bowling! It's bowling! That's what Skittles is. So it's like knocking them down like bowling pins. That's what he's saying. Alright. Pin used in the game of Skittles. I didn't know that they called bowling Skittles. That's fucking awesome. Were they wearing different colored armor? I hope so. Alright, felling his comrades like Skittles as he careers through their ranks. The few who are not bowled over by their leader immediately open fire at you with their crossbows, and you are forced to seek cover behind the parapet. You thought Skittles were Syrian refugees? What? Oh, the Donald Trump thing. Yeah. Exactly. As you crouch beside Lone Wolf, a sudden shriek echoes across the observatory platform, making you glance over your shoulder in fearful anticipation. A shriek! It's a cron! I play the cron I play the cron pipe. I play the cron pipe. I play the cron pipe. Maybe not. To your horror, you see a Kron come gliding down onto an exterior platform that runs around the perimeter of the observatory dome. Astride its scaly back is a skull-faced reptilian that is swathed in ragged funereal robes. It leaps down from the saddled Kron, and as it crouches on the wind-swept platform, it levels a rod of glowing crystal at the transparent dome. A flash of sparkling light erupts at the tip of this rod, and a section of the glass wall explodes into a million razor shards. Instinctively, you shield your face with your forearm as these deadly splinters of glass come hurtling through the air towards you. Elementalism. Driven by the force of the explosion and the gale force winds that rage around the observatory tower. Elementalism. The Kron takes heart from your battle music, gaining 10 combat skill and endurance. You're praying that we'll one day look back on these Trump jokes and laugh, not weep at what dark future they pretended. Man, I have a bad feeling it's the dark future thing. I have a bad feeling. Alright, random number time. I don't have Grand Hunt Mastery. Get a high number again, please. Yes! A 9! Suck it! Your swift and timely reflexes save you from sustaining serious injuries to your face, legs, and torso. Lose only 1 endurance point. Joe Deaver acts like he's doing you a favor when he only does a little bit of damage. Thanks. Only 1. Oh, goody. I wonder how bad it could have been. Could have been bad. Worse, anyway. This guy looks fucking serious. The fearsome reptilian smashes its way through the jagged hole in the dome and comes loping across the observatory platform towards you. Maniacally, it lashes out at you with its glowing rod, forcing you to back away to avoid being decapitated by its razor-sharp tip. Alright, look, the tip of that fucking rod doesn't look like it could decapitate someone. You duck below its barrage of frenzied blows and launch a scything swipe at the creature's torso. Your blade sunders its moldering robes, but when it fails to cleave its flesh, your adversary comes back at you with a vengeance. Alright, so we gotta fight again. We gotta fight some asshole here. Urgaro. Immune to Mind Blast, but not Kai Surge. Cool. Wait, I've got daylight now. I've got daylight. I'm out. I'm in the dome. The glass is broken. Daylight is coming in. I'm taking my point. I'm taking my free point here. I don't think I'm even going to bother with Kai Surge here. I'm just going to use my point from my daylight, and I'm just going to fight him straight up, because I already have an 8-point advantage. Here we go. 22 and 40. 20 and 31. 20 and 17. 18 and 8. God, he's whittling me down, though. He really is. 18 and 0. I beat him, but my endurance is not looking good. I win the combat. Your killing blow lifts the Urgaro and sends it tumbling backwards in a ragged somersault to fall 10 feet away in a broken, untidy heap. Its ruined remains spontaneously ignite and burn fiercely, giving off a choking black smoke. Above the noise of the wind that rushes through the shattered glass dome, you hear angry cries and the stomp of booted feet. The Dracarum have regrouped and are storming the stairs once more, their numbers swelled by a score of Giaks and Hammerland bandits. Driven by instinct, you pick up the Urgaro's crystal rod which lies near your feet, and you rush to the head of the stairs. You can feel the evil power that is held within the rod's slender shaft, but you are unsure how you may unleash it upon the enemy who are racing up the stairs. If it's so evil, why would I want to use this? Can't I just stand here and fucking invisible fist some fools as they come running up? Can we knock them down like Skittles again? I liked knocking them down like Skittles before. You know what weapon constantly gets used, especially against the hardest foes? Valiance. It's like the new silver bow of Do-It-On. What is the bonus for Valiance? Versus magicians. Oh yeah, there are a lot of magicians that you fight. It would come in handy. Yeah, that would be a good one. Alright, I don't know how to use Telenosis, so let's go to 42. The ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything. Desperately, you try to determine how you can release the tremendous destructive energies that are locked within the Urgaro's sorcerer's weapon. Do I want to point it at the advancing enemy troops and mentally command the rod to discharge a bolt of power? Place the rod to my bow and fire it like an arrow at the enemy. Oh yes, we're gonna do that. Even if it's dumb, we're gonna fucking do it. That's what a bard would do. Oh look, lucky number. See, it was the right choice. You draw back the rod and then release your straining bowstring to send the rod arcing down the stairwell towards the advancing enemy troops. It strikes the floor of the landing just a few feet in front of the leading troopers and releases its pent-up energy with terrifying effect. Ah, yeah. The Dracarum assault troopers who are leading the attack are engulfed by a searing ball of yellow and orange flame. Oh my god, I finally made the right choice. Then an entire section of the landing and stairs is destroyed by a huge explosion that rocks the observatory tower. You dive to cover the lone wolf with your body, and your selfless action keeps him safe as fragments of masonry smash into the dome and broken glass rains down upon the observatory platform. When finally the dust and debris clear, you struggle to your feet and survey the surrounding scene of destruction. Shit, yeah, I just fucked shit up. It's like in Shadow of Mordor, when you fully charge up your bow and you shoot a fucking campfire, and it makes a huge explosion. The observatory platform is littered with chunks of rock and shattered glass. You peer over the parapet, and, through the plume of gray smoke that is coiling up the shaft, you see that the lower landing no longer exists. Along with adjoining sections of the staircase, it has been transformed into a vast mound of rubble that lies heaped at the bottom of the shaft. The few enemy troops who have survived the explosion can no longer reach the observatory, but as you watch them attempting to recover the bodies of their fallen comrades, it crosses your mind that the explosion has also destroyed your only known exit from the roof. No, that's not how we're getting off the roof anyway. We're getting picked up by Baindon in his flying ship, or I'm calling Kron over here with the Kron pipe and we're flying. We already knew we're going to fly off this roof, so I don't give a shit about those stairs. You retreat from the parapet and resume your attempt to revive Lone Wolf. At first, the signs are not good. His breathing is shallow and his skin has a sickly pallor, but then you notice that his eyes are moving beneath their closed lids, and you sense that he is emerging from coma. That's good, because I'm sick of carrying him around. I do possess Deliverance. Am I about to lose 3 more endurance? You use your advanced healing skills to help Lone Wolf regain consciousness. He opens his eyes and a faint smile creases his gaunt features when he sees your face looming before him. "So I'm still alive," he says with a tone of gentle surprise. "Nar will be disappointed." He raises his arm and you take hold of it and help him rise unsteadily to his feet. He surveys the devastated observatory and you sense that his agile mind is scrutinizing every detail. He reaches for his scabbard and breathes a heavy sigh of relief when his hand closes around the hilt of the Sommersword. "I trust my blade found its mark?" he asks. "Aye, my lord," you reply. "Your timely action consigns Okan to oblivion and save my life." I fucked up there. "For that I will be forever in your debt." "And I in yours, Grandmaster," he replies earnestly. "I sense that I would not be drawing breath now if it were not for your bravery." Hurriedly, you inform your leader that Guildmaster Baindon and his flying ship are presently hidden in the Shazar Hills, awaiting his telepathic signal. Silently, he acknowledges your words with a nod of his blond head, and then he closes his eyes. You sense rapid bursts of powerful psychic energy surging away from Lone Wolf, and moments later he reopens his eyes and smiles. "It is done," he says confidently. "Baindon will be here shortly. Come, we must prepare for his arrival." Nice. Got Lone Wolf awake now. "Come fight me now." I'd love to have to do a fight now and have it be like, "Because Lone Wolf is fighting by your side, add 50 to your combat skill." Lone Wolf bids you follow as he steps through a shattered pane of the dome and climbs out onto the platform that encircles the observatory tower. The wild, sulphurous winds rip at your cloak and tunic, forcing you to crouch down and grasp the iron platform with both hands for fear of being blown over the edge. Yet these powerful winds do not seem to affect your leader. We get it, Lone Wolf is way cooler than me. He stands erect and immobile, as if cast in solid stone. With an unblinking gaze, he stares fixedly towards the southern horizon, his eagle eyes searching out Baindon's skycraft. Little more than 20 minutes have elapsed when Lone Wolf turns and looks down at your crouching form. "Baindon approaches," he says, his silent words forming in your mind. You magnify your vision and scan the southern vista, but you are unable to discern a skyship among the roiling black clouds. Saito says, well, in Lone Wolf's book it says, because you're having to protect that spoony bard, subtract 30 points for your combat skill. Nice. You magnify your vision and scan the southern vista, but you are unable to discern a skyship among the roiling black clouds. Then you spot a sliver of light in the stormy sky, and your spirits rise. The Cloud Dancer is fast approaching. Guided by the pulsating glow of the observatory's crimson beacon and Lone Wolf's telepathic messages, Baindon is able to bring the Cloud Dancer to within 50 feet of the dome. I hope we're not about to have a Black Hawk Down situation, where we're like, yay, Baindon's here with the Cloud Dancer, and then some horrible shit comes out of the sky and like hits the Cloud Dancer and the ship just crashes and everyone is killed. And now we've got to go rescue Baindon from the crashed ship. But the fierce winds prevent him from making a landing, and so he has his crew lower the boarding cage. The moment it sets down upon the platform, you follow Lone Wolf inside and slam shut the gate. There is a jolt as the hawser tenses, and then you feel the cage swaying the moment it is hoisted off the platform. Despite the violent swaying of the cage, you feel elated when you look through the bars of the cage door and see the shattered dome of the observatory receding beneath you. Then, the exhilaration of your escape from Gad Helona is shattered when you hear a hideous shriek rise above the roar of the wind. Yeah, I get it, there's Kron. Can I finally play my fucking Kron pipe, please? I've been wanting to play my Kron pipe this whole damn book. To your shocked surprise. I'm not shocked. Why would I be shocked? I already know this place has a fuckload of Kron. That's not shocking at all. It's expected. As you expected, you see a score of Kron come soaring up from the open roof of an adjoining blockhouse complex. They are ridden by Dracarum armed with crossbows, and as the first of the scaly flyers swoops past the boarding cage, the riders let loose a volley of bolts. A volley of blots? That's not a thing. A volley of bolts. Fortunately, they are poorly aimed, and none of them find their mark. Lone Wolf weaves a pattern with his hands, and 3 of the Kron come to an abrupt halt, as if the stormy air has suddenly turned to glass and imprisoned them. What the fuck ability is that? He just used Kai Alchemy, probably. Meanwhile, you focus your attention upon a Kron that is swooping down from the clouds above on a collision course with the cage. I play my Kron pipe. I know, this is like, it's like a fucking Doors song up in here. Its rider is carrying a smoking black orb fixed to a long length of chain. Impact looks imminent until, at the very last moment, the Drakkar tugs on the reins and the Kron veers away. As it turns, the Drakkar releases the orb and sends it hurtling towards the boarding cage door. That is not good. We have a burning orb coming at us. This asshole. Oh, look at all these options. Bow, elementalism, Kai alchemy, magi magic. I feel like I need to justify my choice of elementalism by using it whenever possible. I use magi magic quite a bit. Already in this book I've used it like 3 times at least. I haven't used my bow at all this book, but it's because every time I've had a chance to use a bow, I've also had a chance to use something else, so... Let's use elementalism. You draw upon your elemental powers to cause a sudden updraft of wind that deflects the orb away from the cage. Ha-ha! With grim satisfaction, you watch as the orb and its trailing chain explode above a crowded avenue, showering flaming oil upon the heads of the Hammerland bandits who have gathered there to watch your dramatic escape. Suckers. Now I play my Kron flute. I guess I don't need to. Look at this shit. We're done. Lone Wolf commends you on the swiftness of your action. Your quick and effective response to the threat has saved you both from being struck and killed by the Drakkar's explosive orb. The boarding cage is winched up through an aperture in the stern deck of the Cloud Dancer, and as it shudders to a halt, the gate is pulled open. Eager hands help you and Lone Wolf out onto the deck, and Guildmaster Baindon salutes you from his position at the ship's helm. All along the port and starboard rails, his young crewmen are firing at the swooping Kron with bows and boar pistols. Their unerring marksmanship soon decimates the enemy's squadron and forces the survivors to abandon their attack. Baindon pulls the helm hard about, and with a resounding cheer from his victorious crew, the Cloud Dancer soars over the fortified wall of Gad Helona and speeds away towards the east. Turn to 350. So Bardsmanship was useless. I am shocked right now. I did not think it was going to be this easy. I thought the escape was going to take a long time and a whole bunch of bullshit was going to happen. First of all, because, one, that's just how Joe Deaver likes to do things. He doesn't just let you... I mean, the guy just sails in, picks us up on the skyship, and we escape. That easy? Nothing bad happened? Like, that's not Joe Deaver. Was the ending of this book written by a ghostwriter? Did somebody else write the end of this book? Because the Joe Deaver I know would not have written the end of the book this way. I think he just ran out of time. And he's just like, I don't have time to write the last third of the book. Let's just publish it like this. Watch. I'll just throw an ending on it real quick. I did survive the whole book. Yes, Saito, I did. That hasn't happened in quite a while. This is only the third book out of 25 that I've actually survived all of. One was Caverns of Cult, book 3. I don't remember what the other one was, but it was in the middle somewhere. And then there was this one. So, survived the whole book. We're going to 350 to celebrate. Also, it's only been 3 hours and 25 minutes that I've been doing this, which is way shorter. I mean, that's 3 hours shorter than some of the books have been. I mean, this is almost half the length of some of the books. So, I'm surprised it's this short. Alright, turn to 350. Watch 350 be like fucking thousands and thousands of words long. I'm like, I guess I take it back. 350 is like 10 pages in the actual book. That'd be hilarious. As soon as his ship is a safe distance beyond the walls of Gad Helona, Guildmaster Baindon hands control of the helm to his bosun, and then hurries down to the main deck to greet you and Lone Wolf. He praises you heartily for the success of the rescue, and Lone Wolf in turn thanks you sincerely for saving him from the clutches of Nar's fell disciples. A swift course is set for the Kai Monastery, and the voyage is completed within 10 hours. You spend most of the journey home sleeping off the fatigue of your ordeal, but you awake in time to join Lone Wolf at the prow as Cloud Dancer approaches the monastery shortly after dawn. Your arrival is greeted by a chorus of thunderous cheers from your fellow kinsmen. Every Kai who is present at the monastery rushes to the training park to celebrate the return of your leader. Baindon positions his craft above the park, and hawsers are dropped from stern and prow to anchor it in position. Then you join Lone Wolf in the boarding cage, which is swiftly lowered to the ground. Lord Ramoa appears among the excited throng of young Kai lords who are gathered around the cage. With tears of joy welling in his eyes, he embraces you both and then offers up a prayer of thanksgiving to the goddess Ashir for your safe return. He voices his hope that Lone Wolf's abduction will serve as a poignant reminder to the Kai that they should be on their guard at all times, for Nar and his agents will always exploit an opportunity to damage or destroy your noble order. So here's the illustration. There's Lord Ramoa. He looks pretty happy. And here's some really excited looking Kai guys. Fucking Blazer back there somewhere. Congratulations, Grandmaster! You have met this difficult challenge and you have triumphed. Actually, this one was not really that difficult compared to most of the books. This one was kind of easy and short, and I didn't die. Your brave and daring rescue of Lone Wolf will long be remembered in the legends of the New Order Kai. Yet the fight against evil goes ever on. Soon your courage and Kai skills will be put to the test again in a distant realm of Magnamund. The nature of the quest and the dangers that await you will be revealed in the next exciting Lone Wolf New Order adventure entitled The Fall of Blood Mountain. Nice, The Fall of Blood Mountain. That one sounds exciting. Sounds like the next book is he's gonna drop the hammer on me again after letting me off easy on this book. Do you guys know, Saito, do you know what the other book, or Nox, the other book that I survived the whole thing was? There were 3. This one, The Caverns of Cult, and one other that I can't remember. Can't remember which one it was that I didn't die in. It was less a rescue and more you just forced Lone Wolf to almost kill himself saving your ass. Yeah. The Fall of Blood Mountain. And that's gonna do it. We did it. We made it through this book, and it only took 3.5 hours instead of 6 or 6.5. So that's pretty cool. We made it through another one. He might have had to end abruptly. He said nothing about the actual danger rising in the fall. Yeah. Yeah, the end of this book feels very rushed, doesn't it? Compared to most of the others. I'm curious to know how physically long these books were. If they all had roughly the same number of pages, or if some of them were actually much thicker than others. Like, I would imagine, based on my experience here, that this one was thinner than some of those other ones, but I don't know, maybe not. I don't think we have a page count listed anywhere. So that's Trail of the Wolf done. No more Price is Right horn or an instant no button needed. And we can go back to this. And the next one. The final 8 books were never released in the United States. Interesting. That's why I can't find American covers for them. The Fall of Blood Mountain is next. And that's what it's gonna look like. Looks like a big battle at some kind of fortress or something. Dwarves. It looks dwarven. And those guys are dwarves there with their dwarf guns and their cannon and stuff. So Blood Mountain's probably a dwarven place. Sounds like a fun place to bring the family. Yeah, totes. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. We win. We did it. We succeeded. We were victorious. We didn't die. It's amazing. And that's it for now. So, in our next episode, we will come back and we will do The Fall of Blood Mountain. So, thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Lone Wolf Book 25, Trail of the Wolf.